Welcome back for set number 2 of our PPL Friday. I love hearing the players talk about Atlas and kind of his different play styles, different opportunities, and I assume we'll see more of the same here from NIP.
Yeah.
Yesterday they played him. They talked about how terrifying it was to get Khan and Atlas together, and they did that a few times yesterday.
They definitely did. That was a great video. Shout out to,
It is.
I guess, Matt, who would have put that together. That was really cool to hear all the perspectives, things like that. But it's so funny to like hear have that clip like playing right as oh, he's really good. Boom! Like 1,400 damage to the
It's a
face.
couple of
You're
snipes,
like, I think he's right. I like that analysis there.
He's really good at the game, and Imani's also kind of been in that same conversation. We heard the thoughts of SSG on Imani there in the post-game interview and how they feel about that. But regardless of whether you like it, you have to admit she's one of the champions that you have to consider either playing or banning at this point, depending on the map, depending on the team comp, of course. But Na'Vi is going to be that team that's going toe-to-toe here with NIP today. They have a tall task ahead of them, to say the least. But I think if there's a team that can do it, a trending upward Na'Vi can fare pretty well here today, I think.
They will. And I think this is a squad. Na'Vi have a Bittner, right? They have Mutu, I think, who's a guy who plays so many different characters. I mean, he unironically brought out Mochi. So that's where we're at right now. I think they're the team that can keep up with this jank, right? I think they're really one of the only teams in the league that can keep up with the amount of jank NIP is just throwing into the blender right now and seeing what sticks. I'm very, very, very excited for this match because of the uptrend that Na'Vi is on. We were really kind of questioning where are they going to sit? What's going to happen with this team, right? Because it was a little bit of a rocky start for them. And then things just went haywire. We really couldn't tell who was going to beat who in this league.
I know that Mutu is kind of the guy that, well, you just mentioned him. He's the guy that, you know, kind of has to go toe-to-toe with Bittner, I think, and I agree with that. And that he's that ultimate flex. He has big games. He, even on his bad games, is always finding a way to make an impact.
Right.
So in your eyes, is he kind of the one that Na'Vi need to look towards to carry some of these games?
He is, I don't know about carry the games, but he is the one that, well, he does a decent amount of drafting, despite how quiet of a guy he is. He does a decent amount of drafting for this squad, and he is a person that they just, like, they shake their head on Na'Vi and say, he just plays everything. He plays everything in this game, and he can be good enough on everything to, you know, execute it at the Premier League level. So that's what makes him so scary. On the flip side, I think that man right there, Creatives, has done a good job in the past at being flexible and can do so because he has to match Alex, because I think Alex has been pretty flexible. He has not just been like the two-trick hit scan Cassie Leon player. He's done a good job moving over to Eevee. He's done a really good job playing Xin. That's all stuff that Creatives has played in the past. Xin he's been playing pretty much right now, but in the past he's been pretty good at Eevee. So I think he needs to sort of wake up and say, you know, my champion pool needs to expand. That's what the meta is demanding right now, is that there is no meta. You have to be able to play everything.
And the clips that we see here would bolster that opinion. We saw Mutu's clips and he was playing the Cassie, and then we cut to Creative's clips and he's playing on the Cassie as well. I mean, you don't really know which way they're going either. And that's kind of one of the cards I think Na'Vi has up their sleeves, the triple kill on the Bomb King. The Bomb King as well. You can't forget, I mean, we talk about the Cassie because that's the first highlight we've seen.
The Bomb King could be key.
But Creative's Bomb King is, well, it's on another world.
I would say as much as Alex can hang Eevee over Creative's head, Creatives can hang Bomb King over Alex's head. I don't think Alex really plays this pick much. I don't know if he's got it in the pool and just hasn't been forced to play. I would say Bomb King hasn't been the turbo carry that he's been in the past. A little bit of a health nerf, I think, has helped have lead to that. But that's what I want to see Na'Vi maybe look to have in their back pocket, right? That's something they might be able to get like 8th or 7th, somewhere later in the draft, and have it still be very impactful for them. But they need to use the flexibility, the versatility, and the drafting prowess of this squad to get themselves out to a good draft early. Like, those first 5 picks are going to be critical in this set.
In your eyes, we'll hear their thoughts in a minute. In your eyes, is NIP just drafting on another level right now? Is that what you need to do to beat NIP? You have to go toe-to-toe with them in the draft?
They're drafting well because I think it's hard to predict what they're drafting. With how much that they're playing right now, it's almost like we just continue to get weirder and weirder and weirder until it stops working. And fortunately for them, it hasn't really stopped working to a lot of extent. They're playing, you know, yesterday Bird was saying, you know, we play scrims not needing to win. We're playing scrims to learn. We want to try and, you know, find a way to just like make weirder and weirder stuff work. And that was something, funnily enough, we criticized NIP for in their first iteration of the roster, with Sheepa and Paradoso playing with them. That was when they were like, hey, these guys don't do enough differently.
Right. Well, we know one guy who's going to have some sort of idea of what their plans are today. It's Phoenix. We have an interview with him standing by. Let's hear what he has to say.
Well, I'm here with Phoenix from Na'Vi, and I kind of want to go into this matchup looking at something specific. I mean, you had mentioned a little while ago that you end up scrimming NIP most of the time whenever you're back in Europe. So how are you feeling going into this match, kind of prepared against them?
Personally, I still feel very comfortable. Of course, they have been looking strong. They are definitely the top dogs right now in the PPL, and everyone should look at them and learn from them. So we do have respect for them, but we also still have confidence in ourselves and know that we can take this match.
So of the two teams in the league right now that have kind of reached out, like you guys have played Dredge, you've played Moji, they will play pretty much anything, it seems. Do you think those kind of fringe picks are going to make a big difference in this set?
Those French picks basically are used against each other in scrims, so that's the thing. They know that our weird picks, but we also know their weird picks. So we got practice against it, and I'm very excited for the game.
So it'll either be a battle of the weird or maybe a battle of the normal, because you already know how those are going to be. But that's Na'Vi. Seem to be feeling good as we go into this set.
Feeling very confident, for sure. And I like the way he kind of brought that up. Gore asked a good question about the fringe picks in there. And he's like, well, we know their fringe picks, but they also know ours. Then that kind of develops when two teams scrim each other a lot. So when we kind of talk about, well, do you beat them in the draft? How do you have to look at that? They seem like they're comfortable, at least, in sort of maybe knowing which direction they're going, but you can never count NIP out. They'll always throw some sort of curveball. But I think if there's a team, and you kind of mentioned this, that can kind of sniff out maybe some of those interesting twists, it would be Na'Vi. But then, of course, you have to flip the script. You have to look over to NIP. Phoenix said it best. They're the top dog right now. Everyone needs to be learning from NIP. What is it about NIP that really stands out to you? I know there's a lot.
Yeah,
but what is it that's making them play
honestly,
so
for
well?
me, it's the team play. It's the way that they play together. We have the pleasure of watching these guys a lot and getting to interview them a lot because they're always in that winner's chair. But some days I'll just go in there and listen to their comms while they're scrimming and stuff. And the amount of times they play cooldowns around each other and oh, if you do this, then I can do this. So but if I'm playing here, then you need to be playing over here. So that means this guy can go through this way. Sure. And all these cooldowns are going to open that up. It's I'm like, man, these guys are they're playing the whole comp. The whole comp is a machine designed to kind of move, and each piece is very important so that the next piece can do its job. And it's it's just, I don't know. I don't have the luxury of listening to every team communicate like that. But that's one thing, and it reflects in their play, right? When you see Digidog W key to the back line and drop a dome shield on people on ice mines up in those rafters, it opens up a ton of space for people to move around. And it's like one thing after another. It's a lot of things that, this is riding dirty triple kill, baby, from Bonker. You got to give it credit. A boom. He hits the big boom up top, and then the big boom down below.
Does not move once.
It's awesome. It's really awesome to see because it's a lot of storied players. It's a lot of players with a lot of history. Bonker and Bird and Digidog have struggled, man. It's not always been this easy for NIP. They made a last-second roster change to bring in Alex instead of Koa this season, and it has really paid off. Digidog moves to the aggro frontline role. He's really defined. He's kind of redefined and changed what a lot of those aggro tanks do on some of these maps, especially Barrick. The way, he just plays aggro on everything. It's funny in the Atlas video, everyone's like, I think you can do a little bit of this. Oh, I think he's an aggro tank, mate. I think you can get in there and give people the big suck. And it's that is the type of play that defines Digidog, and I've loved to see that. His style cannot be quelled.
I agree. I mean, they're sort of the lineup that is any given player, any given match can really take over and make it their own. In some games, it's Digidog. The aggressive front line is the big game changer. In some games, it's Bonker on the Barrick making huge plays as well. I mean, you never know which angle these guys are going to come at you from. You can say that probably for a lot of teams in the PPL as well. But sort of the aggressive, tanky frontline players, Bonker, Digidog, the ones that we just looked at, they're the ones who can have sneaky good games and end up really changing the face of what we see in that match. I mean, Bittner's always going to have good plays. Alex is always going to have good plays. But you can't count on a quadra kill from a Ruckus every single game. No. But Digidog finds a way to make it happen. Well, we knew yesterday Bittner was feeling a little sick in his interview. We have Bird standing by for the interview today. Let's see how they're feeling.
Well, I'm standing here with Bird from NIP as we kind of watch Diggy get prepared with all his cosmetics to make sure he's geared up for the game. But one of the things I asked Navi is the fact that when you are both back in Europe, like you're kind of the scrim teams that go up against each other, helps deal with ping and stuff. So how are you feeling going into this matchup?
We're feeling good. I don't know about Navi, but we haven't played them in a while. Obviously we don't scrim them when we're about to play them in PPL, but I mean, you've seen our record and you've seen theirs, so hopefully it continues that way.
Yeah, so far, I mean, 6-0, 20 maps above, I think 12 maps above the next highest team, 20 map differential. What would you say, like, I guess, is your team's secret right now that's keeping you so far ahead?
I don't know if we have a secret. It's just
Play
whatever, do whatever, have fun. I mean, that's what we do.
Well, I mean, that's what you do. Navi was saying they're expecting some of the more sideways fringe picks that you tend to bring out, but I don't think anybody can really predict NIP. So we're going to go back to the desk now and just get this set started.
A quiet confidence coming out from NIP. I think that's a good way to look at it. At least Bird specifically. What's our secret? Well, we don't really have a secret. We just play really well. We play whatever we want to.
That's not the real Bird, guys. The real Bird, he's sarcastic, overly confident. Maybe just a hint of tasteful toxic. I don't know.
There was a little bit of that. I mean, he was like, yeah, well, look at our record, look at their record. Well, we hope it continues the same way.
Bird's so funny, man. Bird is definitely a fun guy to be around, and he's always been around. That's the thing. This is one of the most storied players in Paladins history. He's been here from the get-go. He's been winning from the get-go. He's got a world championship under his belt. With that man Bonker sitting by his side. So it's good to see a team that has stood the test of time and has seen ebbs and flows. Navi, frankly, at this point, are basically in that category as well. They've been around for a very long time. They've won big games. They've lost big games. And that's what makes this matchup so damn special.
I mean, at 6-0, if I'm thinking of this correctly, Navi is the last of the teams that NIP has not played yet, because that would put them at 7-0 out of 8 teams counting themselves.
They haven't played each other yet.
This is it. I mean, NIP has been tested against every single one of the other teams in the PPL. They've come out on top 24-4 in maps. Navi, the last team who has yet to face off against NIP, but both teams are feeling pretty confident here. Makasi off the board immediately, as well as Torvald, Makoa, and Nara. So Atlas and Amani both certainly still in play. Both in one case if Navi chooses to take them or NIP on the opposite side. The Khan is still available as well.
Ooh, first pick Atlas as well, so it looks like we will be playing a little bit in that new meta style. We know every team likes it. I don't know every team's feels on Amani, though. I do know NIP's feels on Amani, specifically his feels on Amani. Tenor looked great on it yesterday. I think where we see Amani go in the draft will let us know what NIP think about Amani relative to Navi. Are they going to take this pick? If they aren't, we don't need it early. That's the big thing. These first 5-6 picks in these drafts are going to be critical.
We saw some interesting picks as a result in our last set where like Torvald comes through 9th and all this, some interesting stuff as far as the meta goes in this case. The Khan Genos NIP talked about in that pre-match interview sort of before we came back to us, we saw NIP saying, well, you don't want to give Khan and Atlas over to the same side. And that's kind of the trend we've seen a lot of today and some of yesterday as well, where one team will pick one, the other team will answer back with the other. NIP made both work on their lineup yesterday in a big way. A clean 4-0 for them yesterday. Bomb King and Barrack, we talked about Creative's Bomb King as well. That's a comfort pick for him. He'll be feeling good going into that.
Hard you're trying.
It's going to be big for them for sure. Pip is, like we said last set, it wasn't even looked at. Not picked, not banned. Nobody wants it. Nobody cares. That's not the case this time around. These are players that are going to fight for this. Tenor is going to want this Pip. Creatives is going to want this Pip. This is going to be a big pick in this set. No pun intended there. But Bomb King as well, that's one I want to see that go to Nip at least once, just to see, do they even want this? Is this something they're going to take away from Navi, or are they going to get this every time?
The next
if they
time
don't,
you see my banners,
then I anticipate you'll see this start to go later and later in the draft, unless they want to use it early. There's potential to use it early as a Furia comes in. We can hit on that in a second, but if they're allowed to take it later because the NIP don't want it, or they can take it early just to keep themselves more flexible, more open, say, I don't really know what you're doing yet. Let me take something that's just going to be solid for me as you really reveal more of your cards.
Well, what does get revealed here, looks like a Tyra is going to get locked in.
The gods are watching.
Talk to me about the Furia. I think this is either the first or second Furia we've seen in the PPL this season.
Right.
What does it fit into this lineup?
I think if you're looking for Solar Blessing to come through and be the style that this Furia plays, what it allows Barrick to become is almost more akin to an Inara. It's like back when that matchup was seen a lot more and Fury was played a lot more, the amount of healing that comes through from the Pyre Strike as a result of that talent is monumental. It's like 6K plus. So that will allow Barrick to actually have some contests on the point and feel safe.
Well, there's some interesting lineups going into map number 1 right now. Let's send it down to Evan and Gore to get it started.
Thanks, guys. Rain Day and Gormizer here to kick this one off. It's the Battle of the Behemoths, really, at this point in time. Na'Vi are going to get their swing at NIP. Everyone else has fallen a little bit short as of now, and it's really up to them to do it. But Na'Vi scrimming earlier today, I mean, that's going to bode well. But wait, NIP scrim this week. Gore, I guess it's even. I don't know. It's really just about who plays better.
If we are checking timesheets, Na'Vi was here earlier.
Oh, no. All right. Well, that also gives them +1.
If we want to split the hairs.
Yeah.
They both have their jerseys.
Okay, so that evens
equal
out.
On that.
Yeah.
Although NIP do have some really nice jackets. I'm going to throw that one out there. Like that one's
No,
legit. That's
clean.
not memeing. They actually have really nice jackets.
They look really clean. And one of the great things about this set is, obviously, we're joking a little bit here. Spunky going to be running the Furia, so confident, such a pro, a world champion in so many different ways. In his acquisition of these different styles of healers, so flexible in that way, but also just the way he approaches the game and the excellence he almost relies on himself to provide to Na'Vi. Already, though, things starting off really nicely for Lazy, really bursting down the con early. And we're going to get to see Phoenix on the con, who we haven't seen his take on the champion. Already using a rewind there for himself to send back in time.
Unfortunately, you're in probably one of the worst positions overall, and that is, well, Diggy Dog's on Ashe, and Bittner is on Pip. Or Pepper, depending on how you want to crack it down. It's just looking incredibly good for them.
Whoa!
And I'm going to tell you, no amount of scrimming NIP is going to help you against this. This has just been one of their staple combos. They aren't even showing anything. This isn't anything new. This is week 1 versus week 6. This is the same thing they've been doing all year.
I mean, this is Na'Vi. These guys are fantastic. They got that Atlas pick. And it's looking exactly the same as every other thing. Look at this hyper aggression. 1163. Tenor on the Pip is unstoppable. He did it with Amani yesterday, as well as the Pip. He has been the storyline of this season. Unreal stuff, man. And Lazy goes down again. Are you kidding me? This is annihilation from the get-go.
This is, I mean, again, talking to Phoenix beforehand, kind of getting the feel of Na'Vi beforehand. They felt like prepared. They thought they were, ready for this. Just being able to come in and be like, like we've scrimmed them a few times. Like we're feeling confident against NIP. We know how they play. They know how we play. This can go comfortable. This isn't comfortable. Rewind. This is just NIP playing NIP and Na'Vi having to feel the brunt of it.
You're right. I mean, you're absolutely right. It seems like NIP are the ones who don't have to change their style. It's going to be Na'Vi who can contest. But so far, not much of a contest as well. The Temporal Divide buying some time, and there it is, the reset. And this is what they need, just to stabilize, not to get 2-0'd. NIP come out swinging. Na'Vi answer back with a nice, stable play. Let's take a look at the loadout here for Phoenix as he is running, like we mentioned, that Temporal Divide. And he's going to be running pretty much exactly the same thing that we saw, that Hellhunter one-hit wonder, Old Wounds, Paradox, and Beyond the Veil.
Going actually directly into this and looking at the loadout and how similar it is to what we saw Sadak running, it kind of makes a little more sense to be able to say that, well, guess who those two have been scrimming a lot this week? It has been between SSG and Na'Vi. Of course, again, you're not going to play against your opponent. You're not going to get that feel for them. But I'm kind of wondering if maybe this was something that these two teams have kind of decided this is the way to play it. And NIP in their own world decided, no. Give me deja vu.
Do it to him. The battle of the old school supports, Spunky and Bird. Former world champions together, now split and taking the 1v1. And, the man who might have started that split himself, Bonker, just coming in, helping them to get what was that first world championship. And now on a team with Bird, Spunky gone to his own devices here, largely with a new roster that was also successful the year afterwards. Which is not the incredible story from him. And history now not too relevant as we continue to head into the matchup that we've been waiting for this week. Really the one that'll test a lot. So far, so good. Second chance unavailable. Tenor now on the aggression with the Pip.
I mean, aggression is probably the nicest word for it. That is something that you could put. There are some websites that this could go up on because they're just doing them dirty. Right now, NIP are playing this properly. They're going to go into overtime here, though, and this is a very difficult corner to break through.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I think that's going to be big for Na'Vi here is the fact that you get the respawn, you get the regroup, you get to come out with a plan, and you get at least a somewhat of a defender's advantage. But unfortunately, you have Diggy right in your face. You have Bonker really kind of controlling the zone. Even with this field coming through, I don't know if it's going to be enough.
And that was a setback on the Bonker, but he didn't really lose much health there. And there's Diggy Dog finding Mutu. That is important. Diggy has been phenomenal on this aggressive off-tank. The Evil Mojo from Tenor, that should about do it. NIP 2-0 to start it off over Na'Vi. And things have looked just the same against anybody who has stepped up to the Ninjas.
I mean, this is... I'm going to be honest. I don't know what I expected out of today. I thought this this was one that I think and still think could go 4-3.
It could still do that.
I mean, if SSG Renegades can go 4-2, this can go 4-3, right? That's the way I'm looking at it. But
jeez,
at the same time,
man.
I mean, NIP are just so damn good at Paladins, dude. They're just so hard to dissect. It's so hard to jump into it and be like, this is how you beat them, because they're always playing a step ahead.
And they also wanted to let everyone know that what they're doing is not a dab. It's a young scrat, or I believe it's a scrat. Maybe there's a young in front of it. And it involves leg movement. That's really what they wanted to get across. So for those of you wondering what some of their celebrations truly are, NIP felt very, very heavily, you know, in trying to make sure that clarity was achieved. There's
that entire sentence, I want you to, it just made me age, I think, 3 years. Because I didn't understand any
I don't know what it is either. Nice try. At least you got a bomb back on. But that's going to be Creative's down thanks to the overpower. It's also an Inflame from Na'Vi. They find one kill on Alex score, and there's the Exile. But Bonker's going to be very healthy when he comes out, and it almost hurt them there because he was still contesting the point.
Yeah, one of the glorious things about being exiled like that, being taken out, is that you're in this perfect position of, well, I might not get healed, which in that case Bonker didn't need it, but I'm also not going to get damaged. Like, you can't do anything to me. I am just a presence here in the map. And so he comes back literally where he left off. It didn't even seem like the team kind of prepared to deal with him. Coming around, they don't even get that good of an ult off for the King Bomb. And Bittner just comes in and cleans up.
And Diggy now is here in a great spot. And how can you deal with all of these elements? You simply can't. Tenor has two. Tenor looking to have a third. It's Alex who cleans it up. And the shoulder bash into the air sends Furia flying. And Spunky back to base. Bonker with a cleanup. And NIP are 3-0 against Na'Vi.
Diggy just did a 360 spray. And like that, the only reason that's worth mentioning is that's how they feel right now.
Yeah.
They are not threatened by Na'Vi. And I want to reiterate that they are not threatened by Na'Vi. Any team in the league right now, other than NIP, recognizes Na'Vi as a huge threat. This is big in terms of implications. I was talking about the fact that they're 12 maps ahead of the next highest team. They have a 20 map differential. They're 6-0.
And what's scary? They were doing this before Atlas and Amani.
Yeah.
And they just kept doing it with Atlas and Amani. And we've seen teams kind of almost fall down a little bit with Atlas and Amani not being able to incorporate both champions. So this is even scarier. And really the story before that would have been just this Pip. Tenor's Pip has been phenomenal. And Mutu, he's going to have to flex on that damage as well. Creatives may have to take the pick from them. Nick said it would be a very contested pick, and I agree. And there Mutu just actually using that for a little bit of self-healing. Seemed like.
I don't know. I think
I don't know
maybe
if
he
that
saw
works.
a spider.
Does that really work?
It's entirely possible. Maybe a spider and
I thought you had to hit something.
maybe one of these fabled Jaguars on these faults. Yeah, we'll look at it. See the healing.
Leon, can we see?
See if he has any of the self-healing.
So yeah, no, you just have to heal using presence by.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So he just doing that for some self-healing. Little min max there. Maybe he thought if I shoot my toe, I'll reset it.
I'll reset it.
I'm not sure that worked now.
Get the 7.5 second cooldown now. Your feet are invisible for you. But still, it's one of those positions because of where he's standing.
Nice.
He wanted to be prepared for another fight in case NIP re-engage, especially because even with that kind of wipe, I mean, look at last round. It didn't mean too much for Na'Vi then. That's why it wasn't really worth mentioning this time around. You had to be able to hold. So far, they haven't been able to do that.
Oof, and this is rough because they almost bait him in. And then Tenor and the rest of the squad with Bonker as well on the con, they have so much secondary healing, and they have so much damage with Bird on the Genos. This Genos has been so phenomenal for Bird and NIP in combination with these aggressive front lines like the con and like Tenor's Pip. And now Alex as well. You got to commend him. He's been playing fantastically in this role with the Tyra. And it's not that every team is pulling out Tyra, truly. But Alex is comfortable. Big step up for him, and Bonker finds 2. Tenor finds another. The setback might just set them back a few seconds.
I like
but
Bittner's
they're
like,
still going to win this game.
There was a small pause when he gets back up there like, wait, where am I? Oh, okay. Let's get back into this.
Wow.
So that was Navi's map pick. As you can imagine, obviously performing up to
Tanner almost laughed when you said that, by the way.
a standard, dude. Whether it's theirs
Spit
or
his
someone
water
else's,
out.
it is not exactly the look you would expect. Again, and when you look at this right now, I mean, that was a team that was in the World Championship this year. They were in the finals.
Well,
They didn't win the finals, but they were there.
yeah. And I mean, we're seeing that there is a new king in town right now. Needs to be dethroned if anyone else is going to have a chance at
I
trying
might
to take
know a
it from
guy
him.
who's good at dethroning people.
Well, I'm going to leave it to the desk to finish that one off, guys. What do you think about NIP with this 1-0 lead?
What do I think? I think they're good. I think they're really good at Paladins right now, Nick. What do you think?
I mean, it's nuts, right? It's a lot of what we saw yesterday on Jack Falls from NIP. Alex did play Tyra there yesterday, and that was a conversation piece. That was, ooh, okay, what's this? He's starting to expand his pool a little bit because we were talking so much about Tenor because Tenor's really been the flexing guy in the past couple of weeks. And then Alex, you know, almost under the radar of, or in the shadow of Bittner, was also expanding his champion pool. And Tyra was something we started to see come out from him, and specifically on Jaguar Falls. I don't know where else we might see it today, but it's big. It's double damage amp for this team. And when you have Bonker and Diggy Dog on 2 aggressive front lines, look at that, 8-4, 9-4. And Tenor's basically, he's not a front line, but he's keeping up with those guys. You know, he is staying in the mix. And Alex is providing a ton of damage amp and just firing away from a safe range. But this Tyra definitely doing a ton to enable. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about. This 3-man roving death squad. The Khan, the Ash, and the Pip. Pip is keeping these 2 big boys fueled, or I guess big lady and big man, fueled up and ready to attack, doing so much damage. And they could be almost anywhere they want on the map with the amount of mobility that they've got.
You mentioned having to consider Pip in this matchup, especially when NIP plays it so often. Bittner looks good on it, but Bittner on Pip on Jag Falls at this point is almost a given if it's left up on the board. I mean,
Yeah, it's looking good.
Of course, he can flex onto whatever,
But you're right.
but he's looked so good on the Pip on Jag Falls as well. I mean, that's something I think other teams need to key in on. I mean, it's hard to identify what they're going to play when they can rotate and switch onto so much. But another 4-0 to start off the set here for NIP. And that was Navi's map picks. And now NIP, they get to choose what map they want to go to in this. And they're just playing comfortable. They're playing calm. They're playing collected. Great slash lines from the last game. Looking forward, though, how did you feel about that Furia that we saw come out last game?
Well, that's the flex for Navi. That's the somewhat spicy pick for them. It's something that, it's funny, it's almost defined by like what players are playing that, right? So you look at Furia and you look at Spunky, and it's like Spunky's been around when Furia was a big meta support. There was a time where she was being banned out. I think both of these supports are old in this matchup. Bird and Spunky go way back. Used to won their first world championship together. Very old, not always playing supports. Spunky moving into that role when he moved to Na'Vi. Both these players can like play Ying and stuff, you know what I mean? Because it's like that was a part of a meta that they were a part of, right? A lot of new supports don't play Ying.
Way
she's
back
never
when.
she's never been in the mix for them. So I think Na'Vi they've built strategies. How many times it's a part of like she was in the meta, so they were scrimming that character for so long and building strategies around her, around the Solar Blessing and things like that. So that's always something they'll have in the back pocket that they can go to, but David just didn't work. It lost. I'm not going to say it's as a direct result of. I think it was more of that death squad from NIP being able to move around the map freely, so much sustain with Pip, and they won that game so quickly. None of those things that made them strong fell off at all. I mean, that Pip was able to just fuel that aggression from front to back.
And looking forward to this match, there's still so much left on the board here. The Cassie, Torvald, and Makoa, sort of a standard 3. You know, you can rotate Atlas, maybe Amani in those bands here and there. The Maeve, though, leaves open some flexibility. NIP maybe keying in onto something that Na'Vi had shown in the past, or maybe something that they figured Na'Vi might pull out. Instead, it's the Eevee Genos that they end up going with on their side.
Atlas
That's a
Amani.
pretty deadly combo on their side.
Atlas Amani?
Wow. So again, we're going to reference this again, but looking back at that interview we did, that little piece before the second set, they mentioned how deadly Atlas Khan is
That's
stacked
what I
with
was
each
thinking
other.
about, yeah.
But so you get Atlas Khan, and then you throw in Amani, who's obviously in a good spot now. Those are probably 3 of the strongest first 3 picks you can land here.
And the reason I love Amani on Serpent Beach, even though I've only seen the one game, is just like, think about in history how it's been played. It's like they group up behind the waterfalls, and you sort of skirmish, poke out. There's a frontliner that maybe dives in to pop an ultimate to make some space, and there's 2 point frontliners down on the objective. It's a 4v4 on the top and a little 1v1 with some support trickling down, some healing trickling down from the high ground. Now I think Na'Vi are smart enough to be aware of that.
I'm sure.
And they're not going to sit there and get cleaved by splitting ice. Bittner's not going to be able to, well, I mean, I would love to see it again, but that half-court frost bomb onto 3 and kill everyone. I don't think Na'Vi are going to make themselves super susceptible to that here. They've drafted mobility early on. They've got the Ashe, they've got the Eevee. Those are 2 characters that can clear large distances quickly. Barrick's going to be down on the objective doing his thing, doing what Lazy has done and really redefining Barrick this season and making him just like one of the most aggressive point frontliners and just capture. That's all Na'Vi want to do. But I'm curious, man. It's going to be really interesting, and the spice shall continue here. And again, remember how we're talking about Bittner is continuing to expand and get better and play more and more characters. Alex has been doing the same quietly in that shadow.
In the wind.
What do you think of the Buck here? I mean, we talked about Khan, Amani, Atlas, but now the Buck coming in as well. What do you think of that in this lineup?
Well, the big thing is, like, I'm worried about this Eevee with the Amani cripple. I can't wait to see how Na'Vi play around the Frost Bomb. That's going to be very, very critical. Alex, just being able to look after himself with all of the sustain and damage mitigation Buck brings on his own will allow Bird on Maldamba to really, really focus all of his healing onto Atlas and to Khan, which we know is very dangerous.
Well, there's so much to key in on here. If you're Na'Vi, I mean, they have a very traditionally strong lineup. They have Eevee, Genos, Ashe, Barrick, and Shaolin. I mean, if you take away Atlas and Amani from the opposite team, or where you roll back the meta like 1 week, that's a strong, if we roll back the meta 1 week, that's a strong lineup on the side of Na'Vi. So they have every chance to perform well in this game, but they're going to have to go through a Buck, Khan, Amani, Atlas, and Ndamba on the other side. We're about to head into Serpent Beach, and we're going to send down to your casters to get it started.
Well, something certainly is in the water because there's a lot of dangerous things on Serpent Beach, and it's not just the Serpents. It's Amani. It is Maldamba, but it's also Diggy Dog on the Atlas and Bonker on the Khan, which if yesterday's Frozen Guard matchup gave us any suggestion, will be devastating. And we've got a recovery Buck here for Alex, who has just impressed me beyond measure with his adaptability to whatever NIP needs him to play.
And it blows my mind. Again, you roll this back a year. You're looking at when Alex played and
Kanessa on every map.
And it's just
had
like,
to only play Kanessa.
and it was like the one thing.
Cassie.
You know, at the time, I thought it was funny because he's like, you know, I'm not the one calling for the Kanessa there. Like, that's not me. And now I believe it. Like,
I completely
I don't think
believe it.
I've seen him play Kanessa. And even if he did, I'm like, well, I'm sure you can play it now. Like, you've got so much that you can flex onto. It's just been so incredible.
Yeah, and, you know, that's always going to be the case, man. I mean, you're going to have to prove yourself to people. People don't just give it to the benefit of the doubt. There's too many people doing too many things, yelling loudly about their accomplishments for people to pay attention. They're going to have to see it, and then they'll believe it. That's just the way it works at this point. Right now, Natus Vincere doing a really good job. Nice wall as well. Very supplementary, and that's a good setback because that was where the contest was coming from, and it actually helps Bonker to get a little bit of respite on this left corner. Lazy looks low, Gore, but it's still 33% for NIP, and Amani down on the floor.
And, you know, you're in this area. I mean, you're looking, like, if you want to look at the big front lines right now, of course, Bonker as well as Diggy are going to be probably the biggest story just in terms of what they can bring, what we saw them bring with these champions, and I continue to believe that they're going to be able to do so here. But you just want to roll it back to metas of past. Buck is good on Serpent Beach. Like, Buck and Maeve, Eevee, this is a map that was made for them.
Oh, this is over.
And the fact that they're already making it look this good is not surprising to me.
I mean, Gore, Tenor already gets the first kill, finds the second easily. NIP should have this one no problem, especially since they're delaying the kills for Na'Vi, so now they're not going to have a full 5 in a very long time. This should be their point. Creatives obviously can stun things. This is a former MVP here, but that second chance is going to give him absolutely, that almost misses. Oh, he does miss, but the timing was almost perfect. And the Atlas setback will not send Phoenix back. He's got the assert dominance, and now things might have just shifted very quickly. The Buck Wild still in tow, but they're going to have to get on the point.
They're going to be able to need to come in. They aren't going to be able to charge up this overpower, which was something that was definitely going to be strong for them. 99 to 99 here as they come through.
Wow!
But he doesn't get the touch at the last second That Dread Serpent not able to push them off. And Na'Vi have just enough time, literally
Such
the
class.
exact amount they need to grab that point.
And that's completely. I mean, even dealing with losing 2 and having to take it as 3, getting your assert dominance right at the perfect time before the dragon really comes up and can make an impact. You know, Tenor potentially overcommitting there, and definitely Diggy just barely getting that setback a little early and not forcing Phoenix back towards where he came from. All those little things paid dividends for Natus Vincere, but they balanced on a knife's edge and they came out unscathed.
Shots are going to be good. Dragon ready. Well, most of the ults now at this point coming up for NIP. The Dread Serpent was used at the end of the point, so it's going to take a little while to charge. But this is that area where you get to test the true mettle of Na'Vi being able to come in. Can they push? And, I mean, for them, they want to do it without using ults. But can they just push? Can they get this to be a 2-0? Kind of maintain that control. You can see kind of the right flank here on the map, beach side as it is for Na'Vi. To try and push in, unfortunately, Creative's going to go down right here, and it seems like the rest of NIP kind of collapsing in on this room to make sure that they don't push as hard as they could.
But it looks like it's just a matter of time before Spunky goes down. He's got nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. And Diggy and Alex are absolutely on the chase. Lazy just getting as much damage in as possible, doing as best he can, but that setback is going to send him back in time, open him up for an easy headshot. And Alex and him will clean it up. Diggy on the Atlas, going to look to take the high ground now if he can. And just hold off for the next 45 seconds.
Just holding the angle.
Yeah,
this is actually, I think, the best thing in this world. Like, when you look at this,
In this
not
world?
in this world, in
Holy,
this map.
I got to stop you there.
No, in this
In the Serpent Beach.
Yeah, in
On
Serpent
Beach right
it's
now.
one of the best things you can do because, like, when you look at it, like that's the room, right? That's the room to come through. That's the safest haven to get to this payload. And
Oh, look at that!
when you get
Deja
locked down in
vu!
there, you get locked down in there.
That's why you pick Deja Vu, by the way. I mean, that's what it is. It's that AoE. It's the inescapable nature of Atlas's.
You know what Lazy said?
Huh.
He walked in, like, he got deja vu'd in there. He said, I've been in this place before.
I feel like I've been here before, but I
This
lived
looks
last
familiar.
time. Yeah, but last time I was alive, and this time I'm definitely gonna die.
Not working out too well for him. A nice
Nice
long-range headshot. And that, again, is some of the damage that you're going to see out of this. Between him and Buck hitting headshots, that's going to be some bonkers amount of damage.
Yeah, it certainly will. Diggy doing so much work as an aggressive player. And one of the bigger stories continuously is his rotation from DPS and the earlier iteration of NIP, the introduction of Alex into that role, and Diggy's intro into the role Koa was playing, but bringing that level of DPS, excellent mobility and damage opportunities, and really just decision-making that has proven to be above par. It's 1-1 now. Natus Vincere, though, they got a little thing going in that push. Creatives, if he could start popping off on the Eevee Gore, I think this will be a chance for them to win.
That's going to be the battle, right? Put Creatives, maybe
What
get
a
a
play,
couple
though.
of good kills coming down, maybe make it a little easier for Lazy and Phoenix on the point. Find those kills, find that zone for your team, but the one thing that hasn't been, I guess, noted on or harped on as much, I mean, 7-0-5 right now. Bittner hasn't died. Bittner is playing the Amane we saw do phenomenal yesterday. And he has the Dragon this time around. Probably not going to use it too early on. Takes a big, hefty shot, and Bird is gone.
Spunky, you dog. Spunky, you dog. What a start for Natus Vincere, but
Can't
they're
think of a
going to
better
have
way to start a fight.
They're going to have to finish, and you can't count on that every round. I'm assuming that won't happen again, at least in the exact same way. They're going to use the Dragon just to space him out. Usually they like to do this after they win the fight. He's got to pick one, but Phoenix, he's got the assert dominance. He's too smart to be caught from that, but there's a setback, and Phoenix goes down. Diggy has been showing us a level of Atlas we just haven't seen on anybody else, and he is phenomenal. Exiles Mutu, throws up the wall, rewinds time to get a second chance, fires for some headshots on the Creatives, and helps that duel go in the favor of his team. Beautiful stuff there, but Creatives is going to make it out.
Na'Vi sitting at 63% as of right now as they look at this fight. But that's a good, clean retake so far from NIP. But they use a lot to get back in there, and
certainly
they
do.
don't have much to zone with. And you can see that Lazy dancing on the objective now at 81%. You're going to need some big kills right here. You need Bittner to show up huge for your team to clean this up and give you that opportunity.
Good route. Mutu could be dead here. Standing in the gourd, he makes it out. And oh no, maybe Diggy on that setback actually saves him there, but they find two. Bonker finds another one. He is going off. No one's paying attention to this con. He's rotating in on the fight. The overpower as well. Bonker looks for another. Bonker is going crazy right now, ladies and gentlemen, and that's why they have him in that role. This man, as well as Diggy, the two front lines popping off and NIP in control.
I mean, just being able, like, going into that fight, losing your Amani. You lose the damage, follow-up kill immediately from Diggy. Khan is
Here's
able to
your
find
American
two off on this
damage.
side. Like, that is exactly what they need. And like you said, exactly the reason you have these guys on a roster. They can perform. Doesn't matter who you put them on. They're going to bring that level of play. And dancing around, distracting. Two members looking at Diggy that entire fight from Na'Vi. He's just piled in the corner.
Man.
Keeps himself alive just barely.
And I mean, such ban-worthy champions in the hands of Bonker and Diggy. But you can't ban everything, and you definitely can't ban out Tenor at this point as well. So you have to pick and choose. That's going to be Natus Vincere's biggest task for the rest of the day, picking and choosing who they want to kind of let off the leash and who they want to try to corral, or if they want to try to play the game of averages and kind of be a jack of all trades as far as banning just good things, not necessarily isolating someone. Diggy Dog, though, having his way with Mutu, finds that. Bonker finally goes down. Minute and 40, still left. Big headshot from Diggy, though. This could turn big as Atlas brings a lot of damage. Good setback. And now he knows Lazy is firing on. Phoenix feeling good still. He's got the assert dominance. He's going to jump up, but he's not going to come down. Alex, big damage in the air.
I mean, the shots right now are just doing so much work.
Oh,
that
no.
just thwarts Mutu's plan. Goes for the plant, tries to find just some damage. He's not even looking for a kill. He just wants to get something out there.
Yeah.
And immediately he gets half health. And again, you're looking at it.
Oh,
Here
here's
comes
the dragon. And here he we almost said it in unison. Oh, but Spunky! He actually goes
Such
for
a
the
good
third time
call.
in space again, but he can't go for Tenor, the loadout. As we can take a look for it, when he comes back up, provides him with the shielding and the health, so he will not be one-shot by that. So as long as Tenor does it at full health and no one else shows up, Spunky doing everything he can, but the 200 HP card and the 250 health card, Ancient Duty and Elemental Grace, will always save him at this point.
And that's going to be the big thing. That 250 health just on base. 2,400 damage
Yeah.
from through time and space. He's going to live through that with 50. Luckily, like you said, he has that shield. He has a little bit to keep him alive and keep him going. And that dragon tells you when you are in trouble.
Oh,
you
yeah.
will get a nice little alert on the side of your screen. You've
Nice.
probably seen it on the UI to kind of keep him recognizing, hey,
Oh.
you're going to die if you're not careful.
Spunky almost got killed by the follow-up of the Frost fire there from the Amani. And oh my god, Diggy Dog's just gonna...
He just-
No, no, he walked it in. He walked it in. They weren't even on him. Lazy biting his finger saying, God, I cannot believe we slipped on that in such a big game. Bonker puts his glasses
That's,
up like, yes, I calculated this all along.
That is...
But in a much cooler, more
That's
manly way, you know.
the most demoralizing way to lose.
That's a rough one,
Because,
man.
I mean, they got 2 kills there. Like, that's a defense in the making. Except for one thing, and that is where's the payload and who's on the payload. All you need to pay attention to is always going to be like those few moments, right?
Yep.
And it's the same thing we had said actually yesterday looking at one of Envy's maps. There was a point where Nick was saying, maybe you could have done that. Diggy, not even Diggy, Bonker just does it. He doesn't even think, maybe I could do this. He's just like, I'm just going to stand over here, guys, and, do whatever.
Yeah, don't mind me as we push
Whoa,
this
look
payload
over
in
there.
for an
There's
extra point.
there's
Hey,
Amani.
there's
Go
a
get her.
dragon over there. Look, that's cool, huh? Hey, Game of Thrones season 8, episode 4 released a little early. Go watch it. Just kidding. We're gonna take this point from you, no problem. Tenor on the Amani. Sadak couldn't have put it better. He hates this freaking champion, and Tenor's shown him why. Diggy with another kill on the creatives, but Mutu finds Diggy. Can the Shaolin start to pop off? That's what they're gonna need from him. They were missing him the first couple of weeks, lost that early game to Envy, and now are trying to make up for lost time. But unfortunately, Atlas is the man from time, so he seems to have the edge there.
I'm going to throw this one out there, Chad. I can already hear you
Unless-
maybe yelling at me. But I'm going to throw this out there. Armani has one of the coolest glides in the game, but it's going to be the shots from Creative. Get rid of Bonker one more time. Here comes through time and space, not going to connect and find any kills, but it does corral them right into the Eevee.
And we said Mutu needed to pop off, but earlier we had mentioned how Creatives can really have an impact here, and he's got to. Hits 2 good shots. It's about 1,600, and he's got one on Tenor. Tenor doesn't see him. Creatives, oh, this overpower. Is that going to miss? It does. It doesn't hit. Bonker misses the overpower. Creatives and Spunky make him pay. The zone now on the side of Natus Vincere, and that will result in the point. NIP now having to defend.
That fight was sponsored by Pissed because we let them backdoor. That is 100% like
sponsored
Navi
by Pissed.
Are just mad.
Sponsored by
that
Upset.
That happened because it's just that's not something you let happen, especially at this level, right? This is, I believe, number 2 and number 1 right now in the league going against each other. So Navi definitely feeling the brunt of that one. And they need to be able to open it up and maybe find a little bit more. A nice route onto Phoenix, going to be able to lock him down. And again, just start this defense off good because you've got 2 minutes that you got to buy here for NIP because there's no way to win until they go to the next point.
NIP looking very, very good. And Navi still battling back. That shows you how strong Navi are right now as well. Able to adjust on the fly, but again, they have a little bit going for them there. This matchup has definitely looked in the favor of the 3 picks that have really determined success over the last few days, and that is the Khan, that's the Atlas, and that is the Amani for those who can play her. Good stuff from Mutsu on the stuns as well. He's made a little bit more of an impact on the Shaolin.
That was actually very big during that last
did
point.
set up
there was a
that
point,
kill on
Bonker.
Yeah.
Just locked down, isolated. Did walk away from the combo from Mutu, but didn't walk away with his life. Also worth noting, Mutu, the only one right now with the Bulldozer, has it at level 2.
Yeah.
But that's because one planted, right? That's all you're going to need to really connect. The rest of the team can kind of dance around with it because of the boosts he has.
The only thing I don't like about that is it really, you have to have Mutu in the fight to deal with it.
Yeah.
So it's very, very committal. But the rest of Natus Vincere have opted in for resilience. That's going to help negate some of the setback from Atlas. Won't be sent as far in time and won't be as relocated, essentially. So that is going to help them kind of get back to the fight sooner than later. It also helps if they're getting rooted. And notably in this round, Tenor, unlike yesterday, running only 0.4 extra seconds on that route from the Frost Bomb instead of, oh my god, 1347 to the Dome. Talk about that. Instead of the extra second that he was running on Frozen Guard yesterday. But man, oh man, Diggy, can you stop hitting headshots? Because that's just not fair. That's more than Shaolin can do back to you. And you don't even have Luminary.
No, not even with the Luminary.
You don't even have damage.
Phoenix going to get locked in the corner. Right now, Creative's trying to do some work in the same corner, but there's going to be the rewind. You're going to be able to catch him, but no, it's Diggy who gets shot off, and Creatives is going to be able to potentially make a big play to keep this overtime going for his team.
But Alex trades out, and he's contesting from up here. What are you going to do? Mixer highlight. Bonker showing the sponsor and where you're watching, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Mixer as well. Overtime, though. Oh, and a missed Commander's grab, which definitely would have sealed the deal. They've got Phoenix over in the corner. Natus Vincere, they're not going to gamble anything. They want to go into the next round with ultimates because that's where they're going to potentially lose the game. NIP save ultimates as well. It's 3-2 as they take a break.
They need this break. They need this
Need a little
time
reset.
to reevaluate, come back in,
Rewind.
figure out what's going to go through. Maybe not that one. Oh, well, depends. You can rewind, try to do whatever you can. Be kind, rewind. But a lot of this is going to be Creatives and Mutu showing up big for that fight. They need to have this be consistent. And of course, it's Navi. They are consistent. But NIP, again, they have something going on with them right now where it's just making it a little more difficult to make sure you have the same performance round around. Like, you're going to have to play differently each time to get the same level of performance.
Yeah.
Because if you go into this the same way you did last round, they're going to be ready for you.
Yeah, they are. And I think Natus Vincere really working out that game plan. And it is important to figure that out. And it's so funny that we actually, talked about break. They are paused right now. So they really do need that break. And trying to just make sure they go into this round with as much cohesion as possible as a unit while they get ready to go back into the matchup. It is 3-2 in the map. NIP in the lead in Game 2. Already took Game 1 4-0 very convincingly over Navi. Tenor on the Amani, Bonker on the Khan, and Atlas yet again for Diggy Dog, showing
Yeah.
even more potential for this champion. Gore, what do you do when this is what you're facing as Natus Vincere? Who do you try to isolate? Because it feels like damned if you do, damned if you don't. But what's the core? Is it rushing Imani? Is it aggressiveness? Is it rolling with creatives? Is it kind of spunky through time and space?
I'd actually say it's rush down Diggy. Like, it seems kind of counterproductive. Like, you got to burn him twice. It's the hardest thing to do.
Right.
But once you get rid of the Atlas, it
Yeah.
makes it a little easier. Of course, now what you need is Mutu to help deal with this dragon. He's the only one, at least as of last round,
Assert
that
dominance.
had that
He went up.
bulldozer. And I like that cancel. Just get out of the dragon, immediately come down and recognize I'm the one who's being threatened right now.
And you know what? I think this was really well played by Phoenix because I don't think the setback was available. And he gets Bird, and Lazy finds Diggy. So Tenor, really the one who's going to have to step up here. He's found 2 in this fight, the front line and creatives. And now Alex holding back. He's got sustain. He's not going to use it, though. He's just going to let the in-game healing kind of make him feel comfortable again. 18% to 24 as they look to reset both sides.
And you know, the one thing that has been missing, maybe it is rush down the Imani, rush down the Atlas, make them feel uncomfortable. But I also want to say Alex went from a kind of noisy round 1 to a more relaxed rounds 2 and 3. So looking at him, this Buck, it's difficult to make work. It's why most teams don't play it. So can it keep this track record?
He got the healer. That's a big one, too. You got to line that shot up. Spunky cannot go anywhere, and he charges it. I think he might have been better going for just a little bit of a shotgun blast there, at least get some damage, but they haven't forced it. Beautiful stuff. A triple rewind. The setback maybe doing a little bit less than he would have hoped because he's still under pressure. Good healing as well from Bird, but it's 72% for Natus Vincere.
They get rid of Phoenix, though, which is going to open the door a little bit, but the Dome Shield still available. Through time and space still available. Ice Storm about to come up here for creatives. And, of course, Dome Shield going to get popped right there. It's 93%. You have to dance very carefully. And no Alex means no Buck shotgun.
Natus Vincere going a little nuts here. Mutu and creatives in the back line showing up the way they would have hoped to. Spunky cleans up the healer again with a through time and space, and into the wall you go. Shut down onto Tenor and shut down NIP. Whatever you got, Natus Vincere are bringing a little bit more. 3-3, and they now get to push for a chance to win.
This is exactly what you want if you're Na'Vi, but also kind of scary if you're in this position. You haven't been finding this defense, and you're relying heavily, again, on very key moments that are coming through. That one, specifically, I want to say Mutu playing out of his mind with those shots, being able to find the stuns he's found, the shots, the follow-up damage that he has. I mean, like you said earlier, you're going to have Atlas hitting your headshot, or hitting a headshot on you, harder than a headshot from you is going to hit Atlas. And being able to kind of make the plays, have the control he's had so far, has made a big difference.
And look at this. Bonker is freaking melting. They're all melting. Creatives barely gets around the corner, but Alex will clean him up with a shotgun, and maybe that's the only little bit of defense that we've seen because it has been rolling and rolling since that point. He goes for the buck wild. He knows Mutu's around the corner. They're going to get the kill, and Mutu will almost allow it. Spunky tries to get a little funky there with a little bit of a backdoor, but they're not going to spot that one. And a nice setback as well. That should almost guarantee the kill, but a nice void grip as well. And that's going to at least trade with Alex.
I think the biggest thing for an IP right now, for defense, is keep the control up that they have, right? Spread out, be able to find one pick here, one pick there, left, right, make it so that Navi's kind of perpetually in a 4 or a 3v5.
Yeah.
But when it comes back to the point fight, if they can make it that far, because there's still 45 seconds left for Na'Vi to push, but if they make it to the next point, then the biggest thing I think they need to focus on is actually get rid of creatives or Mutu. Like, either one at the beginning is going to be able to open the door. The problem is they end up kind of locked in one area. Bittner trying to get the dragon off almost always has an Ashe in his face. And so you're going to have to deal with not that. You need to go a different direction, different route, and try to fight Na'Vi.
Oh, they're going for him. They want it. Diggy just barely drops low. It's not going to matter. He's still going to go down, but at least he's forced something into Alex's hands. And Alex, he shows up big. He gets the cleanup. And that's going to be lazy. This should be a defense because Mutu will surely go down here. Phoenix as well. And there's only 7 seconds left. I don't think they have enough time. Phoenix just trying to charge up as much of that ult, I would assume, as possible by doing damage. But it'll be a 3-3. About the longest game possible in Paladins. This is actually, I believe, how you get it. No, they went 2-1. You'd have to do the 2-0. But it's basically one of the longest game possibilities we can have in Paladins. 20 minutes already.
2-0, 1, and then point, defense, point, defense, point, defense, 3-3.
That was
Coming
great.
in 21 minutes. This game is going to easily last into the 23, 24, 25 mark. And
Well, it's just one more fight, so we'll see.
I am happy to be able to watch as it is because, I mean, you're coming into this. The big key difference for this round, no Dragon, close to being charged up, but no assert dominance for Phoenix, which is what has allowed him to get as aggressive as he has.
Yeah, I mean, he's been the key to turning this around because he's distracted 3, and they've used a lot of stuff on him. Overpower not quite used yet. There's a Dread Serpent as well. Watching from this side, yeah, Mutu's just playing safe. Bird's going to rotate as well. He sees that the Dome Shield is there, and the Ice Storm goes on a dig. He's trying to get a heal. He cannot throw the gourd fast enough onto Bonker. Creative's trying to finish him off while he can. Bird looking to get there. There's the overpower straight into the water. Bonker, oh my God, drowns the Eevee. A good dash as well. 200 health. Can he get healed? The battle shout. The min-max is perfect. And there's Alex to the rescue. I can't believe it. Bonker, MV frickin' P.
But unfortunately for them, that entire time, Mutu's doing work on the point, and that's the control they needed. Dancing around, Lazy comes, gets aggressive. Creative's back in the fight. Bonker doing whatever he can, still alive through all of that. Finally gets taken down, but Na'Vi are in control of this objective.
And this is really the issue here. Who's going to get back? Tenner's trying to, but the Void Grip Creatives. Oh, we're talking MVPs, and he says, watch out. How about the HRX MVP? Back-to-back, head-to-head. They both have that title as well, essentially. As it was, what a tremendous performance on both sides. Could have gone either way. Herculean effort for Bonker to even survive, but it's Natus Vincere and Creatives with some of the closing blows to finish out this game. Incredibly tense. Went to the last second, but NIP now tied up. Will this be their first loss? Looks like there's some possibility here as we head into Game 3.
What a game 2 it was, and handing NIP their 5th, only their 5th map loss so far in the PPL. Our Na'Vi looked a lot more comfortable there in game number 2.
This is a game that it comes down to like those little inch plays. I mean, that final replay we saw from Mutu, that was, again, it's like a story that could have been told 2 ways. I saw him withdraw like by himself into the NIP backline. I'm like, well, he's either going to die and do nothing or live and kill everybody, and it was the latter. Mutu having a big, big game. 145K, 147 for Creatives, 156 for Lazy's Barrack.
Yeah.
That man always finds a way to get the big damage on the Dwarf.
It was week 1 or 2 he started playing the Barrack, and that's kind of when the Barrack started coming into more play here in the PPL. Lazy's kind of been at the forefront of that charge, and he does it again here. Top damage in a game where you have a Luminary boosted Eevee and Shaolin, as well as a Amani on the opposite side. Well, that's saying something. Didn't have the best slash line, but he found the important damage.
Yeah, I think that 3 and 15 is more of just Ash struggles against Atlas, right? Anytime you're at risk of, they adjusted to it later in the game, but anytime she ults, you just set her back out of it. I mean, that's brutal for that character. It's so difficult to deal with. They did a good job later on trying to get some value for that from Phoenix. He could also get overpowered out of it. He could get Commanders grabbed out of it. Phoenix had a lot of tough matchups to play into, but I think his team stepped up around the fearless pressure. He's like, I don't care if I die every single game. I have a duty to do. I've got to dive this backline. I have to. And he did a really great job of it. I mean, you see a ton of deaths for Tenner's side as well. And at the end of the day, I think a lot of these slash lines for both these squads, very comparable. Damage numbers, very comparable. That's not what it's about. It's never been what it's about between NIP and Na'Vi. It's these tiny little moments, these small little min-maxes, that backdoor making it through, that dive for Mutu by himself paying off. Those moments are going to decide this set.
And it's tied up at 1s right now. Both teams finding some of those little moments. But remember, NIP win map number 1 4-0. Na'Vi able to answer back, and that's important. You lose 2 maps in a row in similar fashion, things could start to get out of control. Luckily for them, they're able to answer back 1-1 here. Frozen Guard is where we're going to head for map number 3. And Na'Vi, don't forget, they stared down the Khan, Atlas, Amani trio, and they came out on top. They said not today to that top 3 trio there, and they win. So they've shown, all right, we're willing to give away some of these champions. We're willing to play against it. We kind of have our play style figured out there. you see NIP, now they take away Shaolin. They say, we don't want Mutu to be on that anymore. Na'Vi, I think they'll be feeling good. The 3 of the more contended champions all go to the other team and they win. They'll be feeling good in this pick ban phase.
Let me just say, I don't think Buck's going to get the respect around here. Mutu Shaolin was very, very good on Serpent Beach. And not to take anything away from Alex's Buck, I was like, what was it doing, really? I think it found, to be honest, I think it found some pretty clutch picks in critical moments, but in all of the in-between, I was like, I don't really know where is this pick? What's it really doing? It's not really popping up in the kill feed too often. I think 13 and 9 was where he sat. But Mutu Shaolin felt more impactful. It's not about the slash lines. It's not about your damage. It's about the moments you can create with the character you're playing. NIP, granted, it is Frozen Guard. Buck's never been very good here. So it is about the Shaolin, I think, on Frozen Guard. And the way that this is going to shape up with a lot of stuff still open. Khan's open, Ashe open, Atlas open, Imani's open.
Follow me in.
NIP with the Khan Atlas on the table would rather... What? Never mind. Hold the phone. Triple frontline. Ashe and Atlas. Give me it all, baby.
They talked about it in the interviews. I like how much information they gave us in that. They've shown that Atlas can play sort of 2 different roles. He can be in your face. He can be aggressive. He can be more of a damage dealer than he is a tank if that's the way you choose to play him. So he fits perfectly into a triple frontline comp because you have some more of that flexibility, similar to how Khan fits in as well. Now it's up to Na'Vi to answer back. They get Fernando. They're hovering the Eevee as well. It paid off in dividends for them last game. They are going to go that direction. So now NIP need a healer, need a DPS as well.
I will say Na'Vi with Barrack Genos were set up to do like a 3 DPS if they wanted to get as crazy as NIP were doing. And that's part of the reason I thought NIP may have wanted to go into triple tank. They're like, oh man, even if we pick up 2 tanks, leave them another power tank, whether it's Ashe, whether it's Atlas, they're set up right now to just transition into 3 DPS. So if we double down, go triple tank, then maybe we put them in an awkward spot. Fernando's got some tough matchups here. Khan can just commandos grab him out of his shield. Ashe can hit him with the stuns, the knockbacks to peel that shield away. Atlas could set him back. Not out of the Immortal, but a lot of things to worry about. And with the damage amp from Tyra,
yeah, I was going to say.
NIP feel like they know what they're doing.
I like the Tyra pick to kind of round it out. I mean, when you have triple front line, but then you also get the damage amp and sort of some of that, I like to call it guaranteed damage from the Tyra, Victor, kind of Vivian, that trio.
So what's 10?
It helps supplement the rest. I mean, you might lose a little damage with the front lines, but you add a little bit of it back with the hunting party. They go with the Maeve as well.
We're going to need
thoughts on either end here.
Definitely going to need the Street Justice, I think, to execute a lot of these fatties on NIP. Go through both the shields. The Siege Shield won't stop it. No shield will stop it in the realm.
There's big bones.
It's a melee ability, right? Commander's Grab, the Pounce. Those types of things go through shields. They only stop bullets, not the fists and the physical matter of the champions themselves. I like what NIP has drafted, but I'm a little perplexed as to what Tenor's going to be playing. I think Diggy's going to do the Atlas. The character's too new. He's the only one with the hours in on it, so he's got to be there. Khan seems the most likely to me, just because Ashe is very frontline. There's very little back and forth you can do. I think Ashe, and I think Khan fits more of like, I'm going to put a crosshair on somebody and I'm going to pull the trigger and I'm going to track them down. That seems more Tenor to me.
I agree. Game 3 about to get underway. Frozen Guard it is. One of these 2 teams, they're going to take the lead. Let's send it down to Gore and Evan.
Well, with their icy hands, they'll guard this lead until the map is over, because then one team will be out in front, and they're both hoping that will be them. Tenor, he will grab that Khan, as Nick was mentioning. It's going to be Diggy on the Atlas and Bonker on the Ashe this time around, although Diggy usually that Ashe player, and Bonker usually that Khan player, with the triple front line coming into play. NIP, yet again, trying out the strategy, which has worked multiple times here this time.
And the biggest one to look at throughout all of this, I mean, Creatives is going to feel comfortable on this Eevee, but Mutu is the one to look at, because Maeve was picked up really as a way to deal with front lines. If it gets locked down, then it just does not do its job. Execution, 35% threshold, much easier to get rid of a front line if you get that burst. It's kind of what he's going to be looking through all of this map.
And Phoenix finding a good kill on Alex. This is big. Tenor's got to be worried about this. The only thing they haven't considered is that Battle Shout, I believe, is going to negate that pounce because of the damage immunity there. So there's something they have to kind of min-max around. Also, Diggy might be able to see that coming, baited out with a setback, a second chance. and a setback as well, running the Deja Vu category. So a lot of things that these front lines can do that will help. Natus Vincere, 63% already, making things work for them.
I mean, doing exactly what they need to, right? They get the control, they get an early first kill. And the thing is Tyra's, I want to say, part of what makes this lineup work as well as it could is giving that damage amp, giving people, these front lines, the ability to come in and do more than they normally do. Bittner going to be able to get rid of Phoenix there. But again, you get locked in the bad spot, you're going to get locked down.
And it's really the through time and space. I mean, Spunky finds it there, but here's a really good setback, and it's going to set things up for Alex. And now he can snowball because it's just the Eevee as far as the damage pressure. It's just 2 tanks outside of that, so Alex is going to have free reign here, and Creative's blinking in, doing everything that he can, but a Dread Serpent from Bird just finishes off this pesky HRX MVP. This guy's playing lights out on the Eevee, but still NIP holding on.
Still looking for their shots, still looking for their control. Maeve going to be back on the board as of right now, but you can just move in if you're NIP. You manage to displace what you need to. You get rid of Mutu, and that makes it a lot easier for you to be able to, again, stay this pushed up, this far forward. You lock them down, and poor Phoenix just has to run in to try and get a touch, try and get an overtime timer, because this is looking like a point.
This looks like a really tough lineup that Natus Vincere, I think, don't win by default. I think NIP win by default as far as these champion matchups. Atlas and Bonker can both, Atlas and Khan can both do really well against Eevees and Maeve, even though the Street Justice is there when they get to that threshold. They've just got so much sustain, and they've got really good setup. Also, the Khan countering out the Fernando shield. Haven't seen it much as the Exile comes through, and the Overpower is there as well. Nice utilization of that to buy some time. Won't find a kill. We do have to see this narrative play out a little bit more, as Diggy then takes down Mutu on the Maeve.
Healing has been good, but Mutu, again, it's kind of where my eyes are. If Na'Vi have constant kills coming down from him, if he's constantly being able to get either an execute or just putting people within the threshold, making them scared of him, then it's going to be way easier to lock him down. But Na'Vi have not really been able to put him in a successful area. Right now, Lazy and Creatives are the ones doing the work, right? Like, Mutu's just kind of been the distraction factor.
And to good credit, I mean, he can play that role from afar. That's the beauty of Maeve in the Street Justice style. And they're going to let Bonker take his way out, way of the samurai, so to speak. But they will finish him off as he's about to leap off, just to get some of that kill credit, although I think it would have gone to them. Minute and 11 now, NIP with the payload, but not able to push it. Natus Vincere set up a stolid defense. Don't look to be going anywhere anytime soon.
Everything at this point has been incredibly good. You know, we were talking about it earlier. One of the things that they've been looking forward to, or if you are Na'Vi, something you've already been to, finals at High Res Expo. The tickets right now, they are on sale. You can get matchups like this on the world stage and in person. Probably some of the best bets you could have.
I mean, I cannot believe Creatives gets out of that. He's got 3 barrels staring down at him, and he somehow pops out. That's why you want to see this guy play on stage, because last time he was doing stuff like that, he got an MVP title. If you were there earlier enough, you saw Bonker's MVP performance in Game 7 on Shaolin to seal the deal between what was Gangstars and D69 essentially at that time. And of course, Natus Vincere, this entire collection of boys, they're the ones who are able to clean up the win. And another, you know, MV setup. And then, of course, going against Envy. This final one where Rubu took that MVP himself. Not in this matchup, but all great stories and great moments in the history of Paladins esports. These two teams fighting for their own history now. Take a little pause. How do you think this triple front line is kind of shaping up?
I like the theory behind it, and I think, like what you said, describes it accurate. It wins by default, and so it comes down to Na'Vi to stop it from winning. And I think they have the tools to make it stop. Obviously, I was actually going to say, I don't think I've seen NIP in a position where the 10 seconds left, the payload has literally not moved from where it is going all season. So it's definitely control in their favor for Natus Vincere, but I'm still looking at, can you keep this up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as of right now, I think they can, especially based off the last map going and constantly improving. Now I think they've hit their stride.
Sure.
But it's just going to be difficult. The more Atlas does in the game, the more Bittner is able to do on this con, the harder it gets.
I'll tell you what, I'm impressed. Phoenix found a lot of killing blows. I mean, the way Fernando's being played nowadays, it's just a testament to Phoenix as well, because he's not that kind of final hit tank that he used to be. There's been so many others who have found that role. It's just a testament to his positioning as he tallies up number 6 and stays far away from the Khan, who has the commander's grab to be able to do some work. Going to drop the shield, get offensive here while he tries to block off Bonker. And doesn't have that formidable passive right now. Bonker, if he gets out of this, could be trouble. And looks like he just barely does.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
Creatives. I actually like the call. That's one of those awkward moments of, do I get aggressive, do I fall back? The worst case scenario of getting aggressive is you die, in which case you respawn at your base, which is where you're going to have to defend anyway. That's where you're falling back to if you don't go in. He misses the shot, though. That's the one big thing. He could have gotten the kill, might have been able to set this to be more successful for Na'Vi. I mean, this is entirely possible. Not all of it would be in overtime, but a hefty majority of this push right now has been going.
Here's where they have to get a kill. They got to get a kill right here, and they will. That's a big one, and I think this will seal the deal.
Yep, that does it.
Great stuff from Mutu, but you know what? Out of that, after such a good defense, they force a Midnight. So they don't use any ults to do it, and they force a Midnight. I mean, that's what NIP can say they got from that round. Decent effort, but Natus Vincere definitely clapping back in their own way.
The lockdown that Maeve brings in this matchup, again, is why I keep highlighting Mutu. I think you're going to look and you're going to see a great performance out of literally everybody on Na'Vi. Of course, Mutu's going to be able to match that, but it's those moments right there. I'm going to execute, reset, pounce back, and execute another, get a double kill here on the 2 front lines. And once you get rid of that, not only is it a 3v5, but they don't really have a composition that's going to out-damage you in that position. It's not like it's going to be this crazy thing. You could leave Bird, one of the front lines, and Alex alive, and they're going to hurt. It's not going to be the easiest fight. If you're someone like Creatives or Mutu, you're probably going to die. But your tanks are safe.
Four resiliences on the side of 4 members on both teams. And the only other front lines, I believe, going for Cauterize 3, I believe that is on the side of NIP. Spunky here getting pressured out by Tenor, and I think it's a worthwhile chase. Oh, he misses the overpower. That was a big risk, my friend. But he's still going to get Spunky, and he's just separated the healer. I mean, Spunky can't heal from here, so I mean, run away. I think he's effectively neutralized him at this point.
Yeah, there's no way to break that one down. He's locked up in a cage.
And dismounts.
And, I mean, it's a nice wide open cage, but it's like, you know, the jailer's sitting there with his gun on his lap.
Yeah,
like, you're not going to walk past him. He's ready for you. And because of that, you can see the rest of the team getting aggressive. A nice wall right there. Creatives doesn't even know what he jumps into. He dies so quick.
Step back.
And that should be the control and should be the point for NIB. Let's see if they can do more with this push.
Now, that was much more dominant. And that was really just walking you down. And they let Tenor into the back line. And that's the thing. Any matchup of these front lines, save for mobility, which Spunky obviously is going to have over them with the Stellar Wind, just no cooldown on that movement skill. Really. But then you just have, any of them can take a matchup against them. They will just outgun him. Even though Genos is one of the only supports you don't really expect to be outgunned a lot. These front lines will do it. They just have too much health and too much comparable damage. So you can't let that happen. And he just walked in.
Once again, Na'Vi have just walked up. I feel like that's like the most awkward thing. One of the things about these two teams is they're going to recognize the push and pull, the ebb and flow of the game. They know when to back off, when to get aggressive.
Oh, it's
but
bad.
The scenarios that jeez, that gave me a little start.
Yeah.
Of course, Bonker probably calculated fully. Not
Yeah.
going to dash off the map here. Played on Frozen Guard enough to know that, but it's moments like that where it's just like, how far can we pull them into us? Like, can we make them uncomfortably close and uncomfortably far away from their team? And I think that's what we're seeing Na'Vi kind of fall into. Unfortunately, Mutu just hits a reset button.
Oh my God, what an outplay. I don't know if he went for the dash there. He was definitely in the Street Justice threshold, but Tiggy, he gets his health back. He either dodges the dash or the dash can't come, and he keeps this payload alive. Beautiful stuff from him. That's kind of the fun of Atlas, isn't it? All those little moments that you could just say, gotcha.
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 I mean, there was even a moment, and that's one of the beauties, I think, of Eevee in this matchup. Diggy goes to look for the blink, goes to try and trace where she's going to go. She's still right in front of him.
Good grip.
Still falls down, still kills her.
Yeah. Still
keeps her under wraps. And now they're kind of fighting again around the wall side of the map, going through the room, see whatever they can instead of the caves. It's going to be Na'Vi who are getting the kills right here and pushing them back. And with 30 seconds, this might actually just be done and dusted.
Now, here's the most dangerous version of a zone, because going 4-3 with a full team pressuring you out right here, losing your members here as they continue to find some aggression, that's tough. So Na'Vi have to be really careful Payload's close enough to where someone can touch within 15 seconds. So you just can't over-zone. Creative's getting very aggressive here. Bonker in the back line. I'm not sure Mutu wants to body block that. Spunky's already low. Diggy Dog is just running. He's found Spunky. Oh, see, that's bad. And he finds him before he can get his second chance off. That is huge. But overtime still ticking away. Mutu doing the big thing, though. And Phoenix then finds Bird in the back. No support, no damage. At least they have to force, again, an Ice Storm. But Alex finds Creatives. Is there something here? No. Just got a little ahead of ourselves. But again, forcing a flank ult at the end of the round.
And one of the things they did that I think opened that door, it's the fact that not only does Diggy find Spunky, he pulls Mutu out of the cave.
Yeah.
And if you had been watching, like right before Mutu leaves, Ash is running him down in the cave. So making sure you open that area, you allow that overtime there for NIP. Unfortunately, they just weren't able to find, I think, the massive follow-up they might have expected in that fight. You lose Bird early on, which that kind of kills your hopes. Losing a support in this game is probably one of the most dangerous, especially at this level.
Yeah.
It comes down to the fact that everyone's going to hit their shots. You don't have to worry about that. It's just,
Right.
Can you out-heal the damage? Can you kind of play around the cauterize that is, at this point, going to be built in 12 minutes in? You're going to have to deal with these items. You're going to have to deal with this damage. It's just how well can you do it?
Alex a little quieter today as well on the 5 and 8, getting some killing blows, but still not favorably trading right now. That would be a big difference if he could do that. Lacey goes down early. This is kind of a rough time right now for Natus Vincere. They've got to find a kill, and very quickly. Bird, yes, taken down by Mutu. He's on a 6 streak. He's in the back line. What's he going to do? He's got the Astral Mark as well and the damage amp, so he's just going to keep rotating. He's faster.
And he's got his bounce up now.
Yeah.
It's the most dangerous thing to fight into if you're Atlas right here. You do not have the health bar to take this objective or this fight
Second
between
chance.
the two of them. But luckily, he rewinds. Mutu
Shoot.
did not have the reset.
No, he did. He just got juked. He just got juked. And that is what freaking is so awesome about Atlas in this situation. Mutu wastes that cooldown. Diggy says, I'll make you pay for it now. An 87% counting here for NIP. Dread Serpent trying to just seal the deal. No one can touch unless they want to get fear.
Shots are going to be good. Blink forward. Just come in to try and get a touch. But it's 96-12 right now. The kills have been coming up blue, and they're, well, going to continue coming up blue here for NIP. Exactly what you need, the lockdown you want.
Watch out.
I have to say, Diggy, 12, 5, 14, Pittner, 11, 8, and 12. Again, Alex maybe having an average game, but it seems to be working out for him.
Oh, and there's the firebomb as well. It does end up getting a couple of kills. Spunky finds one too. Diggy, though, finds Lazy. This is crazy because they are going their hardest. There is a second chance and a setback, and it ends up working in the way of NIP. Diggy has been so key with these setbacks, throwing them off, hurting their timing, making them make little mistakes. I mean, Atlas proving just to be so impactful here in these small moments.
You know, looking at this composition for NIP, I'd say we're having an average performance right now out of Alex. Not like average is like, that's like, you know, his normal, but average is in like, he's not doing anything crazy. The same thing kind of from last map where it's just nothing insane's coming, like he's not making these awesome plays, he's not changing the game. And I feel like if he figures out this Tyra on this map, it closes down. And if he figures out the next map, it's done. Like that's, I think, the big difference right now is NIP. I mean, considering their full force is like 200% of every other team we've seen in the league right now, they're running at like 150% compared to what they normally have, which is, again, full force. It's like 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, okay, I can see that.
It's just a little bit more tune-up from specifically Alex in this case, and I think Na'Vi have way more difficulty just dealing with it.
It's clearly working on the point fight. On the push is where they're struggling because although these front lines have a lot of sustain, good weapons, and defensive utility, their mobility is lacking severely in comparison to Creatives and Mutu. We're seeing them utilize that. They're in the back line, they're in the front line, they're like, you can't chase me, I'm not worried about you. And I think it's smart. I mean, both teams are playing two different lineups to their strengths, but one is designed to win the point. And it's gritty, it's grimy, it's not fun to look at sometimes, although I think this version of Triple Tank is kind of fun, actually.
Yeah.
But
I will agree with that.
They're getting the job done where they hope to, and it's really if Natus Vincere can have that wonder round. They're going to have a defense here. But if Natus Vincere can have that wonder round and somehow figure it out on the point, it can change this set, man.
It's just changing the way they aggress into it. Right now, Mutu and Creatives are doing a lot of work. There's 2 kills for Alex, maybe even pushing that a little further. Triple kill
wow.
as he picks it up. Maybe looking for a 4th, the
Whoa.
quadra kill for Alex. He heard what we said, and he decided to turn
Knee
up
up.
the heat. And now, I mean, that has single-handedly saved this push. It's not next round yet. Na'Vi have to find one more defense. They were able to last time, but it's going to be uncomfortable.
And I'm really curious to see how Alex takes these fights because we haven't really watched him a lot this game, and we've talked about him just recently, but he's going to have potentially very big impact. They have Lazy on the Hunter's Mark, and they also have Creatives. So they have vision on the mobility, they have vision on the front line, and the damage amp for both. Midnight comes out, and Mutu looks to be aggressing onto Alex. This is why he's dying so much, because he's just getting aggressed on. And now Mutu, this slithery son of a gun in the back line, finding a snake that he likes, taking it out, and sending Bird back to base. It's going to be a 3-3. It's going to be a final point fight yet again between these two.
You need to lock down Creatives at the very beginning if you're NIP, and you need to stop Mutu from getting into the back line and dealing with Bird. That's what he did early on last time. Granted, it ended up hurting him. He got a little bit more aggressive and kind of fell further back into the line, but it is going to be those two, the flanks right now, that are making the biggest difference for Na'Vi. And I think if you lock them down, and one way or another, if it's just, hey, you're isolated over here, or hey, we killed you off and we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Either one works. You just have to get one.
Well, there he is, the man himself, Alex, with the knee up. 70,000 damage
Very interesting
on
way
the
to play.
Tyra. I mean, compared to the Eevee, compared to even the front lines, really more of serving a utility role rather than the main DPS, which is what you would have thought being the only actual damage dealer on the side of NIP. Also staying on his mount as long as possible. It gets the mark, and you can tell. Creatives, look at this. They're going for him. They do not want him alive. They are taking Alex out, taking advantage of their mobility, and Mutu finds a big early kill in the bunker. Alex, though, with a crossfire, popping off. Now he's got the mark onto Spunky. He's got to run, and Firebomb shutting down Lazy's retreat. He's going to stand there by the turret, get healed up, and keep on fighting.
That's going to be a 2-for-1 Dome Shield, going to get dropped down just around the pillar to try and hold onto this as best they can. Mutu looking to jump in, but he gets taken down instead, has to fall back all the way to the base. Lazy doing the dance he needs to, but that Firebomb is just making it so awkward. Bittner puts the pressure on and gets the kill.
But you got to give credit to Lazy. He stood as long as he could. And you got to be very scared if you're Natus Vincere. Now the zone is starting to happen. Phoenix looks like he's going down, gets slammed by Bonker. Someone may be behind this. I saw someone on the left-hand side as well. And there's the Midnight. And yes, someone is behind. Look, Creatives on the map. Go to the Eevee. He's sitting there. And so now, 93% counting. He's got a 1v1 with Bird. If he could have gotten this kill, that would be huge. One shot away. It's still overtime ticking. Natus Vincere have a chance to touch.
Look at this Soar. He's coming around. He's going to be able to blink in, blink out. Doesn't use the ice block just yet, so he does still have one more reset to be able to touch down. Phoenix going to come in, but he gets stunned from the line. Bird with the snake, but it's still not done just yet. The front lines from Na'Vi are running in right now.
Oh, and Lazy's back, and Mutu finds Tanner. Mutu! Oh, he gets around! This is huge. You've got to kill Mutu here, and he's looking for him in the sky. Bonker 2 shots away, and he gets it 78% though, as Bonker overcommitted. Will Natus Vincere be able to turn it around? Creatives gets the overtime, and Spunky gets the kill. Spunky with the through time and space! But it doesn't hit, but it's still contested as Creatives comes through. Natus Vincere, are you kidding me?
Doing whatever they can, 99 to 99. There's going to be a Dread Serpent, though, trying to reset Phoenix. Still dancing on the point with Lazy. Alex walks him down, but Na'Vi pull it back.
Wow. All started with Creatives. He's yelling at him. He's getting him hype. He's the man who started overtime. He's the man who kept it alive. It was a game of inches. And it all almost worked for NIP, but Natus Vincere, for the first time this season, have done what no one else has really been able to do. And it looks like they are putting NIP on the back foot. Let's send it back to the desk.
What a game 3 that was. It looked against all odds. NIP were going to win it. And the creative back door from Creatives on the Eevee swoops in, saves the game.
So many touches.
And I mean, the historians will have to correct me if I'm wrong, but this might be the first time, honestly, that NIP have been down in a set. I mean, they've certainly lost maps before, but this might be the first time this season that they've been down in a set. So unfamiliar territory to them. But hats off to Na'Vi. I mean, that's kind of a slugfest of a game. None of those slash lines like really jump out to me, Nick. They're all double-digit kills, double-digit deaths. I mean, that was a slugfest of a game.
That's how this set's going to be. That's how Serpent Beach was. We talked about it's the moments. It's not these numbers that make the difference. And I'm kicking myself now for not asking production to get me this replay. But at the end of the game there, I'm happy to be wrong about this, but I swear to God, if Bonker just shoulder bashed that Fernando away earlier, the game was over. The game would have ended. Phoenix wouldn't have got the reset.
Right.
Creatives got the first touch. Creatives got the reset there, and that's when Navi was allowed enough time to come back into that. And I'm watching this Fernando walk in. I'm watching the overtime meter. I'm like, Bonker has shoulder bash. He's going to knock this Fernando away, and the game's going to be over. And then it doesn't happen. And I'm like, am I missing something here?
Right.
It's that type of moment that to me seems so black and white, which is why I'm saying I'm happy to be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure Bonker could have just shoulder bashed Phoenix and ended the game.
Could have been something at play there maybe we weren't privy to, but what matters is he was able to get in. He was able to get the touch.
It
Navi
felt so
found
locked
themselves
in,
up.
man.
I know.
They're
It
blowing
did.
assert dominance to stun Phoenix.
Stun. Yeah, the stun, I was for sure
That's
that
a
it
this
was
game
gonna
is over
count
type
over,
of play.
But he's able to get in, get the touch back. Now Navi again, NIP is now in unfamiliar territory. They're on the back foot for the first time in any of the sets that they've played. Navi showing that they can go toe-to-toe. NIP now get the map pick back in their favor. The triple tank, not really, well, you can't really say it didn't work out in their favor because it was another 4-3 game. They hung in there the entire time.
Right.
But going back to maybe a less traditional lineup, but still with more interesting champions, it was sort of an interesting pick, I think, on the NIP side.
I don't have a problem with either. I don't have a problem as a single champion in that game. It's really just those moments that's
what
those
it
question
comes down
marks
to.
for me.
Right.
It feels so locked in because normally Frozen Guard is such a lockdown map. You know, when you lose that very staggered fight, you get clean wiped out, and there's 4 people out zoning. Creatives managed to sneak his way through. That was the beginning of the end, but there was other things that I felt could have been done better. Obviously, talking about that shoulder bash there. We're headed to Bright Marsh, and this is. I almost brought this up before we went to Frozen Guard. I don't know when NIP would go to Bright Marsh because I think it is a very good map for Navi. And though it's NIP's map pick, this is not something Navi are going to be like, oh no, not this map, please.
I agree. I think Navi, most teams you would argue are comfortable on this map. The variations I think really come in the way they pick and ban, the way they want to play these maps. Maybe they feel like they have something up their sleeve that they can throw Navi through a loop, but it's a tried and true map that all these teams will be at least at a baseline level of comfort on. The Makoa and the Cassie are going to get taken away. That's something we are used to seeing at least this week here in the PPL. The question is, how does Atlas potentially fit into this? How does Amani potentially fit into this as well? And both teams have shown the willingness to branch out even further from those two. The Maeve and the Buck coming out in this set as well. So plenty of things still left onto the board. Genos is not one of them. Navi looking for ban number 4 here.
I think Amani can do fairly well here because of the way the point fight is. It's in that little room. It's in that dome. You can fly over it. You can fly around it. The point is you can get the dragon close without having to take a ton of damage. And we saw a little bit of an evidence of that. We were watching the Space Station Renegades game in the green room, and some of the Smite casters were watching the dragon just wreak havoc on SSG, and they were like, wow, this is a good thing. Like, this is hard to play against. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. It's just that we've not really seen anyone fight into this yet.
Right.
I don't know what it was, but that dragon at times on Bright Marsh really kind of snuck up on Space Station, and you can't fight into it. You can't 1v1 it. You can't 2v1 it. You may be able not to be able to 3v1 this dragon. Until you get those bulldozers online, you're just going to lose.
We saw 3 bulldozer 3s yesterday going into the dragon, and they made relatively quick work of it. But that's so many credits going into eliminating one of the ultimates from the opposing team. So even if the dragon dies out, you at least have some utility in the sense that you're forcing the enemy team to buy something specific. Atlas is going to be gone, which is going to leave Khan as the sort of top priority hybrid frontliner in this case. He's seen a lot more play given the emergence.
What's up?
Terminus.
I'll be honest, I thought he was still.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I thought
he was still on the ban list.
He is still on the ban list. Torvald is gonna come out instead. I I took my breath away for a moment.
That was so funny. Terminus, slap. No, sit down, boy. Bad Terminus. Back in your corner.
So many disappointed
Back in your
folks.
corner.
I saw the Terminus.
Doo-doo head.
I was excited, but it's going to be the other T character, Torvald, instead, and the Bomb King for creatives as well. Torvald Bomb King. It's normally Genos Bomb King, so seeing Torvald come through raises the eyebrow. It still can certainly work. It's going to be a better early game combination before some of the wreckers start to come online.
And are unwanted,
So
stranger.
with the Bomb King coming on already, I'm looking at the pip, I think, later on for NIP. Genos has been banned away. Navi have picked that up 2 games in a row, looked very comfortable on it, and picked it early, too. So you know they want it. So I like that ban, switch up from NIP. This set is ebb and flow and adjusting as we kind of figure out what's the way they're going to win with this character, what's the way this character is going to play into this composition. A lot of conversation to be had. Big moment for NIP, though. They're on the back foot. How do they handle this? They haven't had to deal with this really this season. Does this team tilt? That's a big question that you have to ask. Any team that's just winning all the time, do they know how to lose? Do they know how to take a lump, a punch, whatever it is, hit a speed bump in the road and keep going?
I mean, you could argue it's better to lose a little early on in the season so you can figure it out on the way back. Of course, you'd prefer to never lose. But if you're going to lose sort of early, midway through the first split of things, it's probably the time to do it. There is a huge difference in my mind, mentality-wise, between 3-1 and 2-2, and of course, because one of the team is about to win. But if you're on the team that's on the short end of the 3-1, you're playing almost mentally so reserved in a way. Like, you realize that one mistake can mean the end of the day, whereas when you're not playing with the entire set on the line, you're able to open up a little bit more, maybe take some more risks that you wouldn't normally take. Pip and Shaolin in this case are going to come through. So the Pip, we do get him. On the opposite side, though, Furia comes through again. Didn't really find success the first time it came out. Not even close, actually. Map number 1 was a 4-0 the last time we saw Furia. How do you feel about it here?
I do still like it. I still think it's going to serve the same purpose. Like I said on Jag, I wouldn't dare say that was the one reason that they lost. I think it was still there to serve the purpose, and it did. And I think that's what Furia does. Like, it's almost impossible at this level of play, especially for Spunky, to not do what they picked Furia to do, which is to just give Barrick those resets, those extra life, the ability to compete against Damba and Nara on the objectives. However, taking away the Pip Shaolin has put Mutu in a spot where he needs to feel good about whatever he's grabbing at this point. Cassie's gone. Leon's not really his thing anymore. Leon's not a thing in this set. She's not been looked at, and it will be the Imani.
Well, both teams got some spice in their favor. We're about to head into Game 4, which means we're going to head down to the casters.
Thanks so much, guys. It's always so cool to see the adjustments from these two teams score.
Yeah.
I mean, the high level of the European Paladin scene has always been so exciting to watch. It's been at the forefront for a very long time, and it seems like it is right now in our league. And man, oh man, what are they going to do to adjust? They bring out the Imani at the end on the side of Navi.
They grab the Imani and they go back to the Fury. And again, as Dave said, like, that wasn't really that good at the very beginning. It was a 4-0 that they lost overall. So Navi still trying something out. And again, I would put this out as a fringe pick. And right now, Furia has not picked up that often. Furia doesn't do too well. Imani, not necessarily a fringe pick right now, does really well. I don't know how the two of them comboed will do. I'm excited to see.
They got Zarini in that photo. But it's Mutu who's been making one of the biggest differences for this Natus Vincere team. They definitely look a class above. No disrespect to Zarini, but just the role that now Phoenix can play and that opens up DPS for one of the best in the business. Man who flicks him into the Shadow Realm. We'll see if they can continue to have success this time on the Imani. I had a feeling he was going to be one of the only others we saw bringing that one out. And now with a Torvald, we'll get to see some real damage here.
Oh, I think we're going to see some damage, but I actually think it's going to come from Bittner's Pip here more than anything.
Watch out.
It's a very dangerous game to be playing,
There's a flank somewhere.
3 of you are all going to be locked up in one corner right there.
Yeah, he's watching for it too because he's like, I see 3 or 4, but I don't see anyone else. And Creatives finds 2. He was very low. I think Tinner could have pushed that. Oh my God, look how aggressive he's gotten. He missed the explosive flask.
What a stun!
And a beautiful stun there. And it's all Navi. They're going to win this point here unless somebody from NIP can just make a miracle route happen. I don't know if they can get there.
I mean, that was just You played,
Oh my God.
I want to say in Bomb King's territory, into Bomb King.
Aggressive.
And it was, maybe they're counting on the damage, because up to that point, Bittner's flooding that window with potions. But it's the moment he looks away that the rest of the team looks to maybe get either too aggressive, or maybe that's when Creatives is like, wait a minute, I didn't take a hit here. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's hit this as fast as we can, get aggressive.
And he got the bubble.
Jeez.
Some 3,000 damage. You don't have to stop when I pop off there.
Oh, no,
Just keep on talking.
I'm kind of blown away by Navi right now. There's not much more to say when you see that. That's the way that fight went. That's the way the initial fight went.
Yeah.
That time, I don't have any excuse for NIP.
And this
Bittner didn't look away.
Yeah.
They were still there.
And NIP now getting a little bit of their own treatment here, aren't they? On a shorter map, getting 1-0'd in under 2 minutes and 50% of the way on the push with no signs of slowing down. Natus Vincere hit the Inflame, going for the 30% damage, 30% movement speed now, and it's helping. This Torvald amplified Bomb King. Creatives getting creative in the ways he's taking them all down. Make it 3, make it 4, quadra kill for Creatives, and looking to get the final hit. It's the Penta for the King.
Yikes. That's the words I have.
Moment of silence for NIP.
I mean, they F in chat to pay respects. This is just not the way you thought today was going to go, or at least not the way I thought today was going to go. And I just want to throw it out there that NIP, I mean, I don't know what it is that they are not changing. Honestly, everything that they have, a week ago we would have said this is the deadliest, one of the deadliest drafts that they could have put together. And it is just the Torvald coming through, the Amani on Mutu, which admittedly has been kind of quiet compared to Creatives on the Bomb King, who is quite literally blowing them away.
And I don't know if this will stop, but a beautiful attempted sustain here. 30 seconds left. It's a little bit late. But, it's all about can you push it all the way. It seems like Mutu and Spunky getting going as well. And what a play from Creatives on that. You don't always see a Penta kill at this high level. We've seen a few of them. Rubu on the Ruckus in this exact position. In that beautiful November land. But Natus Vincere and Creatives here to take a 2 over NIP in a game where they could go 3-1 against the undefeated seed currently. That's a memorable one as well.
2-0 on Brymarsh, 2-1 on Maps, and they're comfortable, and they're happy. That is the scariest and some of the most deadly positionings that we've seen Na'Vi in the past. Not always a death sentence, I should say, right? NIP, even if they lose this one in a 4-0 fashion, can still bounce back. But demoralizing. And that's actually the question that has been thrown out. Do they tilt? How do they handle a loss? I mean, a team that has gone this far ahead, obviously they've taken some map losses, but how do they handle all of this right now?
I mean, good questions. I think Creatives just barely inches forward. He wins 2 here, and that turns into a huge boost.
The bubble.
But he doesn't have the shout, I guess. Okay, so Diggy's down. Here's an Evil Mojo, but it's just too late. Tenor doesn't want to push anymore. He saw what happened there. They're going to slow play this one. And meanwhile, NIP in control. This is not over by any means, although the pop-off is real. It's just that Alex really not able to duel with this Bomb King with, of course, Phoenix supporting him on the Torvald. Shaolin, no impact thus far. And NIP here. Oh, beautiful overpower. Creatives has to get aggressive because this is huge. They got Spunky. That's not who you wanted to let go. Your support. Now there's no healing, so NIP just have to slow play this, and they should have the advantage.
And they have the fast cap. They just have to stand on the objective. They just have to be able to play this as a 4v5 constantly. And there's going to be a Dread Servant to be able to buy them some room, some time, some space, and get a kill onto Creatives.
Yeah.
But he trades out with Bittner. I mean, not necessarily a trade in favor of Na'Vi, but not the worst thing if you're going to go down.
It's not. You just got to keep Bird alive, and they've done the right thing for Spunky, and I don't think he's going to get hit by anything. Here's the Dragon, and we know where Mutu is. At least they should have an idea of where he's coming from. And if Tenor on the horse can make the rotation, where is he going? Where is he going? Because I feel like Amani is getting low. He is. He's getting shot. Oh, Tenor, he made the rotation like we thought. Able to take him down, and that shuts down the Dragon. You can't fly it without its rider. And now 70% and counting. Big play from the Pip.
And what I love is that pressure that comes through, the kill onto him, just making him cancel out of that Dragon. He was content to just say, all right, come into the room. I'm going to hover here, and I'm just going to play Gatekeeper for the objective. If you decide to step in, I will melt your face off. If you don't, then I will maybe get a little aggressive, and he does push that forward, but of course Bittner makes the saving play, 99-93, but no one on Na'Vi left to touchdown.
Yeah, not quite, but man, what a great play. And this is what you'll see, and it's easy to get excited, but the same way NIP 4-0'd earlier, I mean, you can't get too overly zealous in a matchup with two great teams, because for every big hit they take, they're going to give one right back. And the early game for Torvald is going to be better than the late game before, of course, all of the cards and itemization have been built up. But you also have to look at just the fact that Creatives just gets so much value from his play. If he doesn't constantly get that, if they're able to shut him down, how much of this Natus Vincere lineup falls? And apparently, not enough, because Natus Vincere is still doing a great job with Mutu on the Amani. Didn't quite get what they needed from the Dragon, but still having a very good game here.
Looking back on it, that is what we would like to call really just what it looks like when you have a fast cap enabled, you're able to come in. You get some really good plays from NIP, but they have the advantage going into that. And whether or not they can push this in, tie up the game, or if this goes 3-1, might be a little more telling. It also might give them a little more of a chance playing with the comeback mechanic is something that we've seen teams kind of play around with in these games. Like, you know what, we'll go 3-1 because then we can capture faster than you. You know what, we'll go 3-2 because then we'll capture faster than you. It's dangerous because you are always teetering on the edge of defeat. But when you're in a position like this, I mean, NIP, they know how to play around an objective when it comes down to crunch time.
They certainly do. I mean, both teams do. So it's a game of inches, like we'd said prior. We'll say it again. Phoenix and Creative seem to be pretty inseparable, let's put it that way, as they find a good kill on Alex, who's just yet to been able to make an impact in this trade damage-wise. Tenor really cleaning a lot up, but Phoenix finds him. Big pickup from the Torvald. The Dragon pressuring everyone out, and it's going to isolate Bonker, so Mutu gets that kill with the Flames. And now Natus Vincere able to zone yet again. A lot of ultimates towards the edge of that round. Actually, just really the Dragon. I guess they felt very confident in not really needing it for this next objective.
5 streak now for the tamer of the Dragon herself, Amani. Kind of in this awkward area where right now Mutu, again, quiet game, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily anything outside of the ordinary that you'd expect from Amani, but exactly what you need in this kind of scenario. He's not meant to be the star. It is all meant to be Creatives right now. And he's not necessarily even the afterthought, he's the side project, right? They are going forward, shipping their product, which is this Torvald Bubble Bomb King, and it just happens to come with a bonus Amani on the side. That when played properly and given what pressure, I guess, ults, everything, since we say pressure all the time now, that comes through with Amani, you kind of get to push a little harder, control a little more. It's exactly what you need. 4-3-13 there for him. Like you said, 17-6 there for Creatives. The two making the trades they need to. And again, Mutu just kind of has to, cool, I'm going to stand over here and just let that guy do his thing.
We have the Hyper Beam ready. There is an angle you can actually get quite a bit off. You have to do a little bit of guess play as far as the timing of the enemy team, but it's right around here facing towards the stairs. And he gets overpowered. He's not going to have a chance. Alex should be able to clean this up. I don't see why not. Diggy's going to throw him into the wall. Now Creatives is susceptible. NIP do everything they need to. Battle Shout just for the health, and they're going to go for Lazy, who seems to be isolated, but he's a tricky sort, especially with the Dome Shield now and the full heal. So Mutu may be able to do a little bit of back and forth. He's going to find Bonker, but Alex this time finally gets Creatives right as Phoenix is about to come through.
Well, now the bubble going to be able to go around, kind of play support for everybody, and I'm looking for it to maybe go towards Mutu. It hits Phoenix right there as he's kind of dancing around, but this damage amp, this control that could come through from Na'Vi does right now rely on kind of two key factors. Creatives on the side, if he can come through and get a kill, that's going to be big, but it's going to be Mutu, who almost has his ult.
They're going for it.
Might be able to take back a point.
This is a risky play, but I like it from Diggy Dog. There's the Solar Blessing, gets him full. Mutu gets Seismic crashed as well. Overtime taken away, and Bird finds the big kill. Tenor gets his Catalyst going.
There's the Dragon.
He's got to rotate. I think he doesn't know where he is. I think he's going to just play defensively here. Alex finds the kill, and now she pops out Mutu, trying to wriggle away and dodge some of the bullets, but Tenor cleans him up yet again. That pip has been a thorn in Amani's side. NIP, they're going to take this one, but Natus Vincere, heck of a try to take game 3 there. They're going to have to wait at least another round, though, for that.
And if you're wondering, this is kind of what I expect out of these teams. Again, both of them adept at adapting mid-game.
Yes.
They can change whatever they need to from round to round.
Good way to put it.
Maybe not even round to round. It might even be
Nice
able to
wall.
happen within the same few minutes. And it does come down to the fact that that's what NIP are doing. They're looking at, man, what causes so much trouble first? Well, we lost a fight to Bomb King. Cool. Let's take care of that issue first, then see if something goes wrong. So far, that's been their strategy. I think right now we're looking at maybe Phoenix and Creatives needing to change up their own route to make this work out.
The other thing that we've seen be so successful for NIP is the Evil Mojos when things get a little dicey. They have so much damage and pressure. This time, a couple of things are different. They do not have the Genos to augment the pip. He's not hitting for 9, I believe, 30. He's hitting for that 850 standard on the Catalyst, and that is a difference. It is a notable difference because that's scaling off of everyone. So one thing that they usually pair with that a little bit off to the side. The other thing they did really well, Gore, I think, is they kept Phoenix and Mutu staggered. Phoenix and Creative staggered. They killed Creatives first, then they killed Phoenix. Then by the time Phoenix was back, they killed Creatives again. That really helped them so that they didn't have to deal with the Bomb King, Torvald kind of just duo rolling at them. Literally.
Yeah, I mean, at this point,
Those King Bombs are scary.
King Bomb with a bubble around it
That's scary.
is probably one of the most frightening things. That's nightmare fuel for people who play Paladins. Another thing that should be nightmare fuel if it's not is just Binder's Pip. That's been so clean every single time. First off, Mutu has ulted, I think, that dragon the same spot every time, and almost every time he throws it out there, immediately
It's such a short map.
looking for that rotation because it's not difficult to get over there. And admittedly, there's nowhere that is truly like quote unquote
Nice.
safe for him to ult from.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a really short map, and so you either have to do it from a safe enough distance where it's so telegraphed they can dodge it. Oh, great battle shout. Really good min-max here from Diggy. Oh, really good min-max here from Diggy. Did I say it already? Felt like I had to say it again. Gets the final blow. This could definitely go in, and now Natus Vincere, do they gamble any ultimates? Is it worth it? NIP have 5. Do NIP gamble any ultimates? Is it worth it for them?
Do you want to push it forward? How hard do you want to go right now? You could tie it up 3-3, but Binder gets Creatives. They don't even need the ult to be able to get rid of one of the highest damage dealers on Na'Vi. And now the lockdown's coming down from the Shaolin.
All right, Gore. Dome Shield and a Hyper Beam. I think it's a win already. I think you just let this go. This is a win already.
You don't even care.
This is a win. That's fine by me. They're going to get some damage, get some contest if they can, keep healing it up. Maybe they'll get some more ults. Maybe they'll force pressure in.
Force the King Bomb.
But man, the Hyper Beam is whatever, but getting the Dome Shield. I think Lazy's confident that they have enough else to win that fight, but if things go awry, not having that to stabilize, that's going to be tough.
The only thing I could see, and I guess it kind of plays in, it's a multifaceted defense for them, where it's just like, well, if we don't win this point fight, then they're only up, they tie at 3-3, and then we charge our ults for our defense.
Sure.
Or we win this point fight. Like, it's almost,
True.
quote, like, it's almost a win-win, but not
No,
really.
you get more
because
chances at it. You do.
Still are playing with fire here. For Amani, that's not a big deal. For everybody else,
She
well,
always
maybe not
does
even
that.
for Barrick, it's not that big a deal sitting in his forge, but
Yeah.
it is going to be...
Or for Furia, because she's like literally feels
literally
like
fire incarnate.
fire and flames like all
And
around.
Bomb King lights his own head on fire.
You know
to
what?
go
Nobody
blow
cares
up
about
people.
fire
Yeah,
anymore.
actually,
Torvald's the only one.
And even still, I mean, he's got shields.
He's tinkering, you know.
So maybe they're just not scared of playing with fire.
Oh, but they should be. Look at that. Alex dips out a little too early. Doesn't want to die. Maybe the smart move, but he definitely abandoned Diggy Dog there. Doesn't quite finish off the dragon, and that helps Creatives to get that pressure that he needed. No Dome Shield, but who needs it when Phoenix cleans it up? Torvald. Papa Torvald getting you some kills you didn't expect. This one looking good for Natus Vincere as of now. Tenor going in, contesting and doing damage. So now only 15% for Na'Vi, but it is climbing.
And a good rotation. They actually grabbed
Got
Bittner
him.
in a perfect scenario. Unfortunately, Mutu gets plucked. Not necessarily out of the air, but he does get plucked through, yoinked,
That's
and
big.
killed. And that's going to give NIP a chance to come back and push a little harder.
Grumpy Bomb really good there. Just stops them for 4 seconds. That's 4 seconds before Mutu can come back. And that's really, really helpful. Creatives already knows where Alex is going, and he's got the high ground, and he's got a Solar Blessing as well. Battle Shout just going to try to seal the deal and keep him alive, but Diggy is melting. Mutu is in the fire and the flames, and Creatives, boy oh boy, he's adding all the spark and explosions that you need. Natus Vincere, they look like they could take this game.
I mean, they're doing what they need to. But there is one Inara you have to deal with if you want to be able to take it. It's 86-60 as Na'Vi come back in, take their place
So
on the
close.
point. King Bomb, 80% bubble, back on the boy himself. Creatives
Oh,
still getting aggressive,
no!
but that's such a good shot from Alex.
Alex, where you at? He sends Creatives back to base in a flash. No one knew. He does the hop thing. Alex showing up big. We asked where was this Shaolin, and here he is in flame. Imani not even able to stand a chance against the man with the bow. Beautiful stuff from Alex, and now NIP can push and win.
Well, the good news for Na'Vi is that they did let themselves play around with that
They
point.
needed that
did
arrow.
Use that defense, those ults to get that defense specifically to hold themselves in this game, so they have the opportunity to try and find one more. Jeez, I don't know if you want to. I feel like that's one of those, okay, they're locked in, guys. Let's end this map. Let's go to the next one. Like, let's just tie it up 2-2 and keep going.
And not having a dome shield on that point could have been the big difference, but you have to say at least they have a chance to defend and then try it again. I don't know if we'll see them bet ults, but it could be an even worse situation where if we don't bet the ults, then we could actually lose the game. So we truly do have to use it, and he might go for it. He's not. Dangerous territory to die because Phoenix dies right here. Will they get a chance to even use it? Oh my God, the damaged dragon coming out from Imani.
Doing whatever they can, trying to fly through, cancel out, or destroyed. Either way
no.
you want to look at it. No frost bomb just yet.
no.
Forced to go down, plucked out of the air. That's walking in.
NIP! They steal it, Gore. And they absolutely don't steal it. They just grab it out of the sky. Take game 4 and tie it up.
Yeah, but I see their monitors there. Creatives got the
Creatives
top
got
play.
top play, so they're looking at that.
And they're there. They forced to sit and watch it.
Like every other Paladins player.
But, I mean, recognizing it. Not enough from Na'Vi. Stolen away is the phrase you used, and I think it's accurate. That
Ripped.
is Na'Vi's game to lose towards the end there. They have a lot of the control, and that is why NIP are #1 right now.
Such a contentious set. Game 4 in the books. We're headed to another game 5. Nick, you had head in hand
changed so
there for a
quickly.
little bit.
It's like a minute and a half that goes from like, oh, this is Navi's game. This is it. This is 3-1, and probably the rest of the set too. I think if Navi win that Bright Marsh game, I think mentally NIP would look pretty defeated. The turning point for me is very unceremonious. It wasn't. We didn't really even spectate it because it was like that, almost under the radar. But it was the moment that Bonker killed Spunky on the objective. NIP had sort of lost the fight. There was only 2 or 3 of them left. And Bonker, like as he's leaving the point room, gets that frag on a Spunky, and that allows no healing, right? Nobody's getting top back up. That man advantage doesn't mean as much when there's not sustain there, and that's what almost kept the door open long enough. Big pop off from Alex, but it's that little team play thing that I was talking about. Bonker gets that kill onto the support, opens the door for the rest of the guys to do their part. And then I don't know what happened on the defense there. I think maybe Na'Vi was already talking about the offense they were about to go on because they had it locked in, and from there on, man, the cookie crumbled.
It was close. I mean, it was contentious. The entire set has been contentious. 4-0 is the widest gap that we've seen, which granted is a pretty wide gap in game number 1, but 4-3, 4-3, 4-2 since then. NIP win 1-4.
Right.
Na'Vi win 2-3. Diggy Dog in that last game, I think, had a really great game, and it's opening up a door for a lot of these aggressive frontliners, sort of the new meta that we've seen, in that if Atlas gets banned out, well, now you can go back to the Khan, which is normally the one who gets banned out. Now he gets played a lot more. It's an interesting time to be one of the aggressive frontline flex players because there's so many options potentially open for you. Could be the Torvald 1 game, could be the Khan, could be the Atlas. And a guy like Diggy Dog, who's so comfortable on so many champions, I think benefits from that.
I mean, look at all these replays. They're all on the same side of the map. That's where Diggy was playing, and every round it was something different, but he did a good job every single time. Sometimes it was that bubbled King Bomb that was coming through, and then you saw basically Alex and Diggy Dog would split. Diggy Dog is the sacrificial lamb in that moment. He doesn't want that to turn into a double kill, into a multi-kill as he just rages into the back line. So what Khan is very good at, if he's got the battle shot right, you can just kind of like immune it all. Like you just take it on the chin, and you say, give me one right there, boy. Come on, right there. Give me your best shot, and you can kind of move on from that. But if he didn't have it, he was still good about being like very selfless. Alex back out of this one, and he just jumps onto the grenade for the team. Hit a couple of clean overpowers as well to prevent that eventuality. And one of those replays, you saw that. So great stuff from the dog.
Well, we are in a game 5 now. We're in a best of 3 basically going down the road here. Whichever team can win 2 more, takes this set. Now we're starting to get to sort of the ends of the map pools here. We'll get to the bottom line, and I think there's probably, what, 4 maps remaining out of the 3 potential final games.
I think in a best of 7 you have to play all but 2 maps.
All but 1 or 2, right. So we'll get to see what these teams have deep in their back pockets. And NIP haven't really had to go this far yet before. I think 4-2 was their closest set. It could still end 4-2 in this case. I wouldn't be surprised, though, with the way that this set has been going so far, though. If it goes 4-3, if Na'Vi take the next one and NIP take the one after that, and then Game 7, I wouldn't be surprised.
At this point, right, there's no more big momentum shift. There's no being down 2 games. If you're down 2 games, set's over. It doesn't matter what your mentality's like anyway at that point. And I think both of these teams have done a good job staying mentally tough, because there's been tough losses, I think, on both sides. That just as easy as I think. I haven't got any tweets about it, so I'm going to go back and watch if I was something. As easy as I think NIP could have ended the game on Frozen Guard with a shoulder bash there, that's how this game on Bright Marsh felt. So maybe a little easy come, easy go there. Na'Vi looked like they were in the driver's seat, ready to just lock this one down, and it slipped through their fingers.
I mean, you couldn't hear anything, but you could almost feel just kind of the air sucked out of their side. I mean, like you said, it almost seemed like they were just kind of gearing up, getting ready to go into the next side. And then out of nowhere,
that last defense from NIP stunk. They made it like 10-20% of the way. They got skunked on that defense. That's what I was expecting. I was expecting a 3-3 point fight for the game to end.
And it did end, but on the opposite side, the round before, unfortunately, Bonker as well. We talk about the aggressive frontliners kind of being a staple on this NIP lineup. You can't play much more aggressive.
What happened with this Dragon?
Is this when it got canceled?
He must have canceled it.
I guess it got canceled. I mean, unless it literally got insta-gibbed.
It was
which I don't think is possible.
All right, maybe here's a hypothesis. He would have, by the time he got... No, it's not too far-fetched. It's like kind of like, by the time that Dragon got to that little death ball of NIP, I don't think it would have gotten in range anyway. Probably would have been dead. So Mutu maybe in his own head realized there's nothing else for them to shoot at. If I fly up on this Dragon, it's just going to die and waste my time. Let me just auto-attack anyway.
That's probably a fair way of looking at it. I think, and honestly, that's not really far-fetched. I mean, in reality, at that point, it's just a Dragon.
The Dragon does not do well out in the open.
Right.
Contrary to popular
Dragons out in
belief.
an open field. That's not the way to go.
What the president that Game of Thrones have said for us doesn't really live up to what Amani's Dragon brings. Amani's Dragon he likes to be indoors, right? He's a very new style Dragon.
Dredge against Amani Dragon.
Oh no!
The pirate
with that light
really
blue
fit,
cyber
I'm telling you, it could happen. It could happen. The champions are technically on.
The cards are there.
You could get Ice Mines or Frozen Guard as one of the final maps. Dredge likes those maps, although maybe not Hurl Dredge on any of those maps. It's in the realm of possibility, though. It could happen. At one point throughout the season.
I like where your head's at.
My head's in the right place.
I like where your head's at.
My heart's in the right place, at least. Ice Mines is banned out, so we're not headed there. Splitstone, Warder's Gate, Frog Isle, they're off the table here. Frozen Guard's already been played, so Stone Keep is where we're headed for game
Stone Keep,
5.
Fish Market, Timber Mill, Splitstone Quarry, I think are what we have left.
Big brain. Big brain.
Splitstone wasn't banned, right? That's the only, right?
What did I say? Split.
I don't think Splitstone was banned.
I don't think it was.
I think those are the maps that are still left in the pool.
I think you're right. Potentially Splitstone could have been banned. One way or the other. Either way, those are the maps that are still around here. Maybe we won't have to go that far. Cassie Makoa, I think across the board have been the standard 1-2 bans for this set here today. Stone Keep, we've seen some snipers maybe start to come into the meta a little bit on this map. I wouldn't say they've come back frequently enough to really be in the meta on this map, but some players have shown in our different leagues that they can get played here and can find some success. Amani had some good games earlier today on this map, so definitely within the realm of possibility there as well.
Maybe a little Andro for feeling a little spicy. He's just not been on my radar recently, but the past couple of days have shown that the guys that feel good on the character from times past will pick it up with their backs against the wall here. Nobody in danger of losing this game, so I think a lot of these decisions are going to be made with cool heads.
Solid.
They get rid of the shot one. The shot one was good, had good moments down the stretch, so that's going to like leave the taste in our mouth for how we talk about it after that game, which I don't think is entirely fair. I don't know if Shaolin's in Alex's top 3 or maybe even top 5. It definitely is for Mutu, and it felt like something they took away from Na'Vi that was serviceable enough, but it's not the type of champion, and neither really was the Buck. I want to see Alex kind of like pop off on something like he's been known to do. He's been a role player today, but that's just what he's been asked to do. He's been asked to mark people with Tyra. I'd love to see him get in there on the Eevee, do something that he's really been playing a lot of, and really make a name for himself in this set.
He's had some quiet, good games today, I think is the way I would look at it, where he's in there, he's playing his role, as you said.
He's got to do what he's got to do.
He's got to do what he's got to do, but he hasn't had sort of the flashy, over-the-top Alex plays that we've maybe seen in the past, and it's been fine for them. They're going toe-to-toe with one of the other best teams in the league here, so playing his role very well, I think, is a good way of looking at it. A quiet, good day here so far for Alex. Atlas is going to go back over the way of NIP as well as the Genos.
It kind of makes sense. I mean, he was the last-second decision, right? Koa, a guy who played for Mouse Sports last season, he was going to play for NIP, but they brought in Alex last second to play, and he really kind of has been almost that perfect player to just bring in. He's been flexible for them. He doesn't seem, I don't know him super well at this point, but he doesn't seem like a guy that's tilt. He doesn't seem like the guy that has a lot of ego going for him. It's his first time.
It's a good personality to have.
Yeah, I think he's just solid all around.
I agree.
I think he's
Definitely
exactly what NIP needed, and a big part of why they are being successful, because he doesn't really, I don't know what his expectations are for himself, but he's just here to improve.
Just wants to
look
win.
Good.
He wants to win the game. That's what a team needs. You need 5 guys who want to win.
And not do interviews.
And not do That's right.
He's going to show up, he's going to have good hair, he's going to not do interviews, and he's going to do what he needs to do for his team to win.
Don't worry, subject.
And that's all you can
After a few
Alex's
good
4
lashes,
keys
you'll
of
all
success.
See it my way.
We'll get an interview with Alex at some point. One of these days.
A natural fight. I just hope you lads
We'll do an off-camera interview to kind of
hopefully it'll be better than his performance on Who Dat. Hey, got him.
You mentioned when they first showed it that you wanted to meme him, so I know you've been sitting on that one for a while, and you finally.
He did so bad that I literally felt bad, and I didn't make fun of him because I felt that bad for him.
You're like, well, man, you got one.
And after he went, I made sure that I stressed to everyone. I'm like, listen, if you don't know the sound, skip it.
Pass.
Don't spend 20 seconds on it like Alex did and get one sound correct. But
you got to hand it to the guy. I mean, he was caught on one, and he wanted to get it right. Unfortunately, did not pay off in Who Dat. Is paying off, though, as far as their scoreline goes. 6-0 so far. On the verge of making that 6-1, though. Na'Vi looked great here against them today. Atlas, Genos, Amani, Eevee.
Hell of a start.
That's a good 4-stack.
Hell of a start. I love the Shaolin ban. I love that this allows them to feel like at this point Cassie's gone, Shaolin's gone. What's Mutu gonna play? It's gonna be the Maeve this time, which is it's fine. I don't know that. I don't think it's like amazing against any of these characters in particular. I think Midnight's gonna be a big thing for them to move around with. But I love where NIP's gone. They got their Genos. They got Alex on a power pick for Alex. Finally, he's not playing a role. He's not bringing utility. I think Alex can come into this game and carry and be a win condition.
Definitely. And that's what he'll look to do. Break out of the role-playing mold a little bit and get himself some flashy plays on the board here. On the opposite side, Na'Vi, though, they go back to the Furia. They found some mixed success with her here today. Lineup either way. One word, Na'Vi, NIP. He gives it to NIP. We're down to a best of 3. Game 5 is going to set the tone potentially for the rest of the set. We're going to have to send it down to the casters, though, to find out how it goes.
Thanks, guys. Well, I have a strong suspicion that this might go 6. And I think the team that wins this one is going to take the next one.
Yeah.
Obviously, can't foretell the future, but that's just my feeling here as they've been trying to feel each other out, and I feel like maybe this is the game that opens the floodgates for someone. I like NIP's lineup too, Gore. I think this one is better for the players.
I think it's just not only comfort, but stronger overall. I think Alex specifically is going to kind of, I don't want to use the phrase blow our minds, because I feel like at this point we're used to his Eevee, but he's going to play it really well, and I think it's going to look good on this map. Of course, this Amani as well has been catching my eye, and you can't not mention Atlas with her, the 2 new champions this week. Both of them finding a home here for NIP.
Who's getting Luminary first? Well, it's not Alex, apparently.
No boost for you.
But he's making a nice little flank there. And that's good damage as well, especially not getting... Oh, and there it comes. 977 hits a few. Oh, and Smucky's in trouble. Alex misses that shot. Would have been very detrimental to him, but he's gaining some space. Don't want to get too close on the blink, because then they can get you on the blink back. But he's got some good damage right now. Still Natus Vincere in control of the point. Lazy on there with the Barrack, 15%. Gonna back off here.
This is just what you want to see out of, like, again, it's not the flashy plays, like flashy kills, I should say, but it's flashy damage. It's, I'm going to blink in, I'm going to hit you with one shot, and boom, that's 850 to your face. What are you going to do about it, right?
Yeah,
like, how are you going to fight me?
trouble.
Where are you going to stand? How are you going to feel comfortable? You get aggressive as Alex, but you really just set up the rest of your team. And, like, Na'Vi control the high ground, well, quote-unquote, control the high ground and the point. But I feel like Alex's positioning kind of kept him locked away. It was more like just, again, sitting inside of a jail cage.
Yeah, absolutely. Diggy Dog here doing a good job of just hitting damage, man. And in general, 99% counting here for Alex and Tenor getting 2 kills is a very, very strong thing. And look at that setback. Really beautiful stuff there to show the impact it can have in an overtime situation. Phoenix all the way up to the high ground as Alex absorbs a few of those orbs from Furious Wings of Wrath. And they will take the first point here.
Did we actually look at the slash lines? I'm not sure NIP have died.
Ash probably has.
Ash might have died very early
Conquer
on.
might have.
Whereas, I mean, at least for Alex, the 7 streak is burning for a good reason. They've been putting themselves in very comfortable positions. And with this kind of control, I mean, it's exactly what you want, again, for NIP if you are an NIP fan. And the key to breaking it is moments like that, right? Bonker gets killed off by Mutik. You have to be able to find multiple moments like that. Very similar to 2 maps ago when we're on Frozen Guard. But it's a little more difficult to do because you have to lock down this Eevee instead of having her help you lock down.
And this is really dominant from NIP. Whether you're noticing this or not, it's so important that we see the range and the pressure that Alex can put on a map like this, on the Spunky, who's got that one mobility, but then after that, he's got to fight. And he's got to use what is really a strong solar blessing for his team as just a normal Pyre Strike to get the stun if he wants to shut down any flanks. Here's the overpower, though. This is what Phoenix has been building up to. It's going to get 1, but Bird finds Phoenix with a through time and space, so Bonker eventually will fall, but they've sacrificed that for maybe some push into this high ground.
A couple of good daggers here could make a big difference, but just all of them going into the wall, not being able to find the peaky ones. It's that dangerous game, right? Do you take the peek and get hit, or do you try to find the damage? He doesn't take the peek, doesn't get hit. He just kind of falls back as Mutu. They do get rid of Alex, which is probably big, but this is even bigger. Diggy Dog.
Why no
losing
second chance?
the trade.
I'm wondering why he didn't use second chance there.
Huh.
It was available.
Honestly, might just be the call seems to be from, well, now
Yeah,
definitely
maybe just
it's fall back.
reset,
But
yeah,
maybe
fall
just
back.
Everyone, you
Probably
know
what
what,
it was.
Diggy, might as well fall back. Yeah.
All right. I feel that. Don't delay the inevitable. Just try to get damage. Now Diggy's back in full. Tenor on an 11 streak. His Imani has been extremely effective. Also really thought Rock's Imani was very good for Team Envy. But Tenor is kind of almost proven like he's the class above. He was the first one to bring it out in that early set against SSG yesterday when she was first released. So he's got those honors. Bonker with 2. That's going to hurt. He's got the support and he's got damage in creatives. And Alex gets this one. This should be a push here.
And this is one of those moments. Goes into the dome shield, doesn't care about the damage, finds the double kill, and makes sure that that is going to come down. Overtime going to be here, and now Alex is playing Gatekeeper. Going to make sure to try and lock everyone in. Though a beautiful rewind, a good follow-up shot, but the healing is better. But hey, who cares about the fight?
That's a
get the
Pog.
push.
That's a Pog-like setback, my friend. And Alex is
get
all
outta here.
smiles. Get out of here. I mean, the impact, and there's a loadout that Diggy was running as well that has an extra probably 1.5 seconds of time that you send someone back on your setback. And I want to look at Atlas's loadout in this round because it feels like he is sending people back a little farther than normal. Could have just been, you know, the fact that he used a very quick Poppy Bomb to move forward, and that's how he just, you know, had that. Let's see. And also, it's still level 1. He's got a loadout that has no one escapes to level 5, but still, it's just really a lot of burst mobility from these champions getting countered immediately, so the timing's even more impressive on the side of Diggy.
Ooh, a nice shot, I believe, connects there onto Phoenix. He's going to be able to get some healing. Through time and space, just giving you a small advantage. And nice exiles, and after the Fury ult as well, so they're not going to get that bonus damage or movement speed for a little bit. They're going to be able to come back in and still use it, but that was beautifully played.
And Tenor finds 2, then Diggy finds a nut. Like, literally, 2 of your best players can't play the game right now after they ult for big damage and big movement speed. Oh, man, oh, man. Atlas is just proving to be so fun.
I love
to
the
watch.
idea of a Fury ult, and then literally Diggy just goes, hold that. Wait. Okay, let's find out.
Okay, you can go. Like, just...
All right, I'll allow this.
Yeah, I'll
for
allow
you.
it.
Okay.
Here's the King Bomb, though. Creatives has to do something big here. He's protected, so Phoenix just making sure he's behind him. And actually, they space it out really well. NIP just back it off. And oh, that's a lot of damage. He has to be careful. It is Eevee over there as well. Has a little bit of a line of sight for Diggy. So Bonker here trying to take the high ground back. Tenor on an 18 streak. No one's been able to get him. 748. Oh, here's the Frost Bomb route. Good block there. Great stuff from Phoenix. That might have just saved a few lives.
I mean, just being able to save it might save the point as it is right now. 85 to 72 here. NIP
damage.
looking to try and fight back into this, but it's going to be a nice overpower to grab Bittner and in that 19 streak.
And that's what they might have needed here. I mean, fantastic stuff. Mutu, he's going to clean up the rest. It's just Bird. He's gonna die here. That should do it for Natus Vincere. Really, Phoenix, the big plays there because he blocks the route, which would have set up so much. And then he overpowers Imani in a pretty treacherous situation. And they get the big payoff there.
Creatives is, I want to use the word destructive on Bomb King. He takes care of NIP. Explosive is too on the nose. It's you know, we're not writing children's books.
This is Nickelodeon, okay?
Yeah, we gotta step it up. We're at least. I don't know where the next.
Yeah, where's the next level?
I was gonna take a giant leap, but we're not HBO here. Either, you know, we're somewhere in the middle.
That's a bit of a leap from Nickelodeon.
If you want to take, you know, Disney Nick on one side, HBO on the other, some sort of spectrum in the middle.
What, TNT? Like,
Yeah.
what are we? CBS? You know, for crying out loud.
There we are. We're CBS.
CBS. Okay.
Either way. I don't even remember where I was going with that. Creatives looks really good on the Bomb King, and it's one of those things. He's been very comfortable being able to pick this up and play it so many games in a row at this point that it's becoming just so much of a nuisance for NIP that it's not on its own a game-changing factor, but he keeps playing so consistently that it's becoming such a problem for them in controlling objectives.
Well, it's generally something that he's excelled at, just being such a excellent Bomb King that you really do have to adjust some of your strategies around it versus when you're just playing against a Bomb King. Creative's Bomb King, it's a little different. And I think he takes pride in that. Bonker actually going to go forward, try to take some space, and that Solar Flare, or excuse me, the Pyre Strike is going to stun him out there. Lazy, Phoenix finding a couple kills. Natus Vincere, they're going to tie it right back up. Really no contest. A little bit of hesitation, but they get the 2-2 pretty easily, so we're all squared away yet again. What's new, Gore?
Yeah, that was
Freaking
fast.
A. Will somebody be better than the other in this set? Come on.
Someone finally take that step forward. Oh, hey, it was Mutu last time around. Nice double kill right there. And again, that's the thing that we saw in Frozen Guard. That was impactful, and I think that's the thing that we're going to see throughout this game. If he finds those pounce, reset, pounce, right? Execute into another execute. Onto Diggy Dog and Bonker. Yeah, Bittner is able to do a lot of damage. Alex can find a lot of kind of zoning.
Yeah.
But can they do it without the front line to kind of keep them protected?
That's a good question. It's very hard to answer right now as well. Tenor on essentially a 19 streak before he died. Only has died once in this game. 4 Resilience 2s for the side of NIP. In fact, only 3. 1 side of Alex. Tenor goes up. He's found Phoenix. He knows where he is. They should do a lot of damage, but in the Solar Blessing, he says, let's see who can heal more or do the damage, and the healing actually wins out. So this time, the Pyre beats the Abyss.
Nice, cute little sidestep there on the Alice Phoenix, or the Khan, to be able to step out of the 2-time in space while holding the Alice and being able to find this. A nice dash down onto the low ground. Bonker is in control, or at least he's being controlled here by Na'Vi.
Well done.
I mean, that's just, you asked for it. Someone's got finally playing a little better than the other.
Yeah, and you know what? However, there's still some stuff on the side of NIP. Watch out for Atlas, the Exile. It should be coming up soon here if they do want to isolate somebody. And the question is, who do you want to isolate? There's a setback, and it should put Phoenix into trouble. When I'm saying that. Words slipping as obviously we see just a little bit of a scramble, but Natus Vincere take the edge here in this game. No Exile at all. And it feels like Natus Vincere now, like you mentioned, Gore, just kind of pulling away, having a chance to take the lead in the set.
And it's that last minute, you're in second in this race, the guy's right in front of you, and, all that energy you've been saving. The reason you're in second, you finally just click it, and you're like, all right, I'm going to put everything I have into this last sprint, and that's how I have to finish in first. At least for this one, it's going to give you a leg up in the overall race. And if you can control this, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if they can carry that into the next game, the next map. But as of now, Na'Vi, I mean, if they can find this push even half as easy as they found it last round, then this is going to be looking like maybe a 13, 14-minute game.
Yeah, and I think there could be some sustain here, and the defense is going to be strong. You got to worry about, biting off more than you can chew, and they're going to play this a little safer. It's actually a really well-timed retreat, but the payload is still moving, so be careful. Here's the Dragon. It's going to buy some time, and this is a great time to use it as well. Notably, didn't get any value, and he's just going to use the time. He's just going to stall out because it's not going to go away unless they kill it or he cancels it. And he's going to try to find the angle. Little side spit there. Well, I don't know what you call that.
He was trying to, he wanted to hit him with the angle, not the
exactly.
Hit him forward grab. Like he had a mic on one side, so
he was listening to Drake.
Blow out of the other side. Either way, 13-1-13, and a kill on the creatives. Probably one of the better targets. Like you're gonna have trouble burning through Con plus shield, so being able to just get rid of some DPS and buy again a little more room gives you that space. No exile just yet. And just as a reminder, that will remove you from being able to do damage, take damage, get healed, any of that, but you do still count as a body on an objective. So if you get exiled around the point or the payload, you're still technically contested.
And Spunky's healing is not over time. Unlike Birds and NIP, Spunky's going to have to throw that Solar Blessing out if he gets exiled, and if it doesn't, man, Na'Vi have no healing for the entire duration. It's burst healing with the Cherish, and it's going to be burst healing as well with this Pyre Strike that's been the Solar Blessing choice for him. I mean, this is just extremely dangerous for both teams because this could be the end of the game, and they're going to have to gamble some ultimates. They see the Dome Shield, and they want to do anything to guarantee that this is at least pushed to another round. I think if you're lazy and Na'Vi, you're happy you got assert dominance. Maybe you'll just take this and go back to the next round with that lead.
I mean, unfortunately, though, you might be playing with the timer of, hey, Dragon takes a while to charge back, right? So maybe because we got that earlier in the round, we got this assert dominance, we're feeling safe. That's 80% right now on the side of NIP. Whereas for Na'Vi, Dome Shield, King Bomb both used. Midnight's going to charge up pretty quickly. And while it's maybe not as game-changing as we've seen out of some of the other ults in this, on these champions, on the 10 that we have in here, I said this when I was talking, I think it was yesterday with Dave, but it's just, you're in a shooter. And when you lose the ability to see for any amount of time, it is going to affect your gameplay. There's nothing to really counter that, no vision to come through from like a Cassie. So Midnight can play a big role in a fight if thrown out properly. And mainly for Mutu, that means maybe it's easier to kill Diggy. Maybe you can kill Bonker here.
Well, Resilience is packed away. Record 2s. Tenor still having Cauterize and Record 2, but getting Resilience and a little bit of Rejuvenate. Good wall there. The unstable Fissure goes a little bit forward, and now Phoenix is in trouble. He's got a battle shot. Oh, and it misses. Oh, this is bad news. He's got it inflamed because Spunky's dead. Otherwise, he's dead anyways. No ults even used, I think. And they've already won.
I mean, complete dominance coming down from NIP for this one. It's just exactly what you needed when you needed it. A nice rewind. Just get lazy out of here. You do give him the ability to bowling ball, reset, run away, but it doesn't save him for long. Alex was looking for blood, and he finds it.
Oh, and this is the perfect overpower. Way to answer. Alex finds lazy earlier, but Spunky, he returns the favor onto Diggy Dog as Phoenix with a beautiful overpower sets things up again. The Dragon is around, and maybe this is the time to use it. Tenor, again, only died once in this game, and there she goes. The Dragon is out to play, but he's got to be careful. He's already half health. He's already 1/3. He's already dead. So much for the Dragon. He's got to do it with the Frost Bolts here, because it's all coming down to this.
Well, the 3-3 tap dance has started. Mutu kills off Alex. Makes this a 4v5 Phoenix.
Exile.
Low on the point, not going to get touched by that beam. It goes too far, so he's not going to have that healing, but he has his own, and he's not necessarily fully in combat. But what a beautiful shot from Bittner. Threads the needle and finds Mutu.
And he's got to get these kills now, and it looks like he might. Who is going to contest? He's going on top. The Frost Bomb, the triple stun from Tenor. It looks like it's going to set it up for Natus Vincere. to basically be deleted. The whole team falling apart off of NIP and the Dragon, Imani's impact. I don't know if they can get back to the point, but they're going to have maybe one more chance. It's 84% and counting.
Assert Dominance just came up. They're about to have 3 time and space. It's not a lot to work with, but King Bomb, Dome Shield coming online once again, rolling through. Creatives is trying to, but 845 health, doesn't feel confident trying to jump into this fight.
Oh, but he got the reset, and there's the send back in time. He's got a second chance, but it's going to turn out the way the first one did. NIP back in charge after a hell of a game, and another 4-3 between these two juggernauts.
Needed a third chance. Didn't quite have it.
That's
Tried
right.
to come back in to do whatever he could, but the King Bomb had to get canceled early. Too much damage taken. And then Creatives had to flirt with the idea. He's like, I'm not going to get enough healing here. Like, even if I touch that reset, which he got, am I going to be able to jump in? No. Unfortunately for him, he gets pushed out, and that was just control for the last point from NIP.
You could see the disappointment on Navi's face. They were close, but NIP found a way again. Let's send it back to the desk and get ready for potentially the last game of the set.
Some smiles creeping across the faces
relief.
of Alex there. Relief, I think, is a good way to word it. Look at Navi, though. Yet again, so close to taking a game, then it gets taken away from you right at the end. Nearly could have gone up 2 games in this set. Unfortunately, now they're down. Backs against the wall. NIP, they get a good draft. They get the win here on Stone Keep, and they're 1 game away, Nick, from taking the set.
A lot of cool numbers to look at here, and I really feel like it defines these two teams very well. Look at these damage numbers. Look at these slash lines for NIP. The way that they can just command the battlefield and just frag and win these fights. You would think they'd be 4-0ing with some stat lines like that,
Right.
wouldn't you? But I think it speaks volumes for Navi, the way that they're able to play the objective so well. And Furia is a big part of that, I feel. That's why, again, they lost with it on Jaguar Falls, but I don't think it was really much of the reason at all. I think it still did its job. I think it did its job as well here, and I think that's illustrated by the fact that this team could be getting crushed on all scoreboards, but they stay in it to the point where they are 93 to 99 on a 3-3 point fight, 16 and a half minutes into the game. Navi are damn good at playing the objective.
You have to tip your cap to Bittner in this case. 29 KDA, and that's the reason they're still in this game. I think Navi were playing the objective so well. If you didn't have somebody fragging out, 18 and 1 was Bittner in that game. That could have gone a much different way for NIP. Still a smile on the face of Spunky here.
Yeah.
Navi have a lot to be confident in, though, I think. I mean, they've taken NIP, an undefeated team, to 4-3 now on 3 separate maps, and taken 2 of those maps away. Just lots of thumbs up, I think, for Navi.
And they invented the magic word this season, which is pressure, right? I think because of the way they were so aggressive at the start of that 3-3 fight, that's what caused, Phoenix to have to back off so quickly. That's what caused that Solar Blessing to miss him, and he doesn't get that healing, and he does go down, and NIP do take the go-ahead, and Splitstone was banned. So it was Ascension Peak. That was the map that I couldn't think of.
Right.
But because of that, NIP got themselves off to a great lead, but Navi are so good at sticking in there, staying with it, playing the objective, never falling too far out of contests. And this has just been such a good-ass set. I've loved every second of it.
I agree.
Every game has been, I think, 15 minutes plus?
Yep.
It's been nuts.
This is about all you can hope for in a contended set. NIP looking like they were going to roll over everyone. But Navi showing that they're here to fight as well, and they have done just that. 3-2 going in to, I guess it's map number 6 here now for them. Ascension Peak is going to be where we go. The band's actually mirror imaged, I think, the last 3 games. Shaolin getting taken away by NIP. Don't want to give that to Mutu. Cassie as well. Navi are going to lean on the Genos. What are some picks maybe that you like to see here on Ascension Peak? I know we see the Drogos a good bit. I don't think we've seen Atlas or Imani yet on this map. Do you think they fit in here?
No, I think they could definitely fit in here. Atlas seems to be pretty damn useful, and it's wrong for me to say at this point that I don't think he can fit until I've seen it. Right, I'm not gonna condemn it anywhere. I think Ashe is super good on this map. I would like to see them go for that, but unless it's gonna be the triple front line again, they're hovering the Khan and the Atlas.
I guess we'll get the chance to see how well he does on this map. I mean,
wonder-
he has a kit that, he has a kit that would, bode well on most maps. So
My whole
wouldn't be
thing with
surprised to see
Ascension
more.
Peak is it's this big ass point. It's this big box that has 2 statues on it. So it's kind of like, yes, Anara is like this crazy good point, but this is like where my opinion on Barrack started to change as a point frontliner, because he was able to
next
just
time you see my
huddle in his
banners,
corner, put his back
run.
to a statue, put the
Yeah.
little shield in front of his face, stack his turrets,
Got it too much
and chill there. And
for
it's
you,
like you
Bob.
almost don't really need like the beefcake point front line
Right,
on
that's
Ascension
true.
Peak, because there is ways to like you're ducking around these statues, you're playing well like
Bob
that.
and weave.
And so Atlas, if it's Temporal Divide, which I'm leaning towards Deja Vu here, being able to rewind a frontliner from like around a line of sight corner in one of these statues, being able to rewind somebody around line of sight seems very valuable to me here, because it is a lot of dancing in and out of this point
And
room when you're
now
getting
skill.
low and you want to take a new position. Plus, I know Diggy's been fairly aggressive while playing Atlas. Hasn't really played Temporal Divide as much as any of those. I'd say more often than not, he's going for the Deja Vu style.
I think we saw what Temporal Divide on Frog Isle earlier today, and that was the first time I was ever like really able to see how massive that wall. I think it might be a little bit
size
overkill
of
on
the lad.
Ascension Peak.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit overkill to throw out
Yeah,
the
the
Temporal
maps
Divide.
that have the roof and they have
Right.
the walls around the point, it doesn't feel as necessary
Right. I
to
mean,
me.
the wall probably in its standard size is all you really need
Yeah.
on this map. So probably Deja Vu. I agree with your points, though. Lots of little nooks and crannies to potentially hide. We'll have to see which direction he chooses to go. The Eevee, though, is going to get taken off the board here with the Genos. The Ashe is going to go over to Na'Vi as well.
Is that the first Leon of this set?
It might be, actually. I was going to bring that up. We have not seen Leon. We saw her in the first set. I know Ares played her a bunch. But yeah, I don't think we've seen Leon yet in this set.
And it's a bit of a question mark, because the Cassie getting banned out a decent amount, that can go to creatives or Mewtwo. It's really, and that's part of why it gets banned so much, because it's damn good and it's very flexible. Pretty much every DPS player, and hell, even some front lines of supports can play themselves a damn
true.
good Cassie. Shaolin has been something Mewtwo's gone to today, so I liked the adjustment to ban that out. I thought Alex looked great on the Eevee last game, and he was finally able to be an impact, and he was very, Tenor blew everyone out of the water in terms of damage and slash time, but Alex was right there next on the list, which is hard to do as Eevee. Hard to keep a damn good slash line like that as well, but bringing out the Leon, I think this is kind of something that has flown under the radar today, that in the past 5 weeks has been a top 2 pick for a lot of these hitscan players.
Definitely in making her way back into this one. That'll be interesting to watch and exciting to see.
Like next set, Kanga VP,
Give
Leon's
them
gone,
hell.
Right.
maybe even banned,
Right.
and then
You-
she's
you
getting
would
picked
think.
top 3.
You would think. Tyra, though, coming back out for Alex. Looking at both sides here. Pip, Tyra, the damage dealers. Atlas Khan, though, for NIP as well.
Can't call it.
Genos, Leon, Eevee, Ashe, Barrack. Those are 2 very studded
Yeah,
lines.
I
At
can't
this
call
point, I think it's just going to come down to whoever plays better, whoever plays their composition better.
Yep.
What's sort of the win condition on the NIP side? They have the Atlas, they have the Khan as well.
I think it's how has Atlas played on this map?
Yeah.
What do you have for us, Diggy Dog? That's what I'm curious to see. We haven't had any Premier League experience with Atlas on a lot of maps, and this is
Yep.
going to be one of them. So I'm super excited. You guys keep your eyes glued to the screen and take notes, because the dog is bringing Atlas out on a peak for the first time.
Always getting to learn from
Learning
the
is
boys down there.
important.
Learning is very important. Very contended here. Game 6, NIP on set point here. Natus Vincere, they fought up to this point, and they need to have a little bit more fight in them to push it to a Game 7. Let's head to Ascension Peak. Let's head to your casters.
Well, this is a closeout game for sure, and it's not necessarily on your home court, but it's on some place that you've been familiar with over the days. Ascension Peak and Atlas, we're going to find a lot out about that. Alex should probably have a high expectation on his performance here, because it could be the thing that tilts the tide. But we've seen Bonker and Diggy on Atlas and Khan be a dangerous duo.
Yes.
Well,
It kind of felt like they were memeing the learning on the desk here. And
Yeah.
I just want to throw out there, the knowledge is half the battle.
Oh, yeah.
And so not having much
Phoenix
experience
slug shot, too.
against maybe an Atlas on this map might lean in favor of NIP, depending on what Na'Vi feel. But I mean, this is like the most standard Natus Vincere kind of composition. Maybe you trade out that Eevee for a Bomb King to make it like much more typical
Oh, look
for
at
them,
that.
but this is just what they expect, what they want.
And so they're running Temporal Divide here, and they're not using Deja Vu this time around. So this is map specific. Bonker approaching with the Khan, but Diggy Dog switching up the talent And this is one of the things he talked about. On different maps, he will play this differently. One of the benefits about this, though, is although it's so big, one of the negatives that come with that benefit is that it is a much higher cooldown. It goes from 14 to about 21. And however, he's in a good spot to really put some damage on Spunky.
Also, notably, you can look down, Diggy Dog running a different loadout because his health not necessarily anywhere near as high as it normally is. 3950, I believe, was what he had there instead of the over 4K that we've seen a lot of people running pretty much every game except for this. And it's just a different prioritization of points when it comes down to it. Bittner, though, going to be able to get credit for the first kill. And that wall. I almost called it a shield. But once that wall comes up...
And the movement speed as well. It's just beautiful stuff here from them. And just a dominant performance on the side of NIP. Slow played to the best of their ability. And there, look at that damage. Great tracing from Alex. I mean, you talk about him having to do the deed. And the tick damage from the fire cleans it up. Oh, man. Wonderful stuff to immediately get rid of it. And the crossfire as well. Alex trying to pop off here. It's Bonker with the last kill. But certainly Tyra putting on the pressure.
And just being able to, again, continually put them down on Na'Vi. Finding kills left and right. You get rid of creatives for one fight. You get rid of Mutu the next. Spunky right after. It's all you need, just a couple of picks a fight, and that's what tilts things in your favor. You had said last map, and I agree with it, this map is more of a, you know what? We have to close this out.
I think
we
so.
can't afford to lose any more maps.
Yeah.
Again, NIP, in this case, have lost a total of 4 maps across these 6 weeks of play. Now it has gone up to 6 with this set, potentially going to 7 as a max overall. Actually, 8 as a max, depending on how Na'Vi do for the rest of this. So far, not looking like they're planning on losing anymore.
Very curious to see that Exile brought out. He only got 1 target off, but he actually shot it 3 times apparently. So, or maybe if you die, you lose the cooldown on that. I know that it's basically 40% and 20% for each shot. Is the gist of that ultimate for Atlas. So kind of like the Victor Barrage. You can kind of use your charges sparingly, save some of that ult. You're right, though. I think, yes, closeout is the bigger conversation around here. If they don't, I think it's a big letdown because, you know, you have a chance to close the set out. They don't. They're fighting for their lives. Now you've given them a chance. So that's equally demoralizing as it is. Just unfortunate that you didn't do what you needed to do when you needed to do it. Now you got to play some more against a great team. Anything can happen.
Actually, kind of surprised to see that it's going to be Bonker doing a little better than Bittner right now. The 3-1-5, 2-1-6. Depends on how you want to kind of trade off the assists and the kills. But the damage is actually coming up mostly Na'Vi. Well, that's the thing. You can get a lot of poke if the healing's going to be maybe a little stronger on the side of NIP. That'll give you a good sign. But that is a good defense.
Oh.
So I believe that was actually knocking Alex off the map there.
Maybe.
And just complete, I guess, reverse control there for Na'Vi.
And great stuff from Na'Vi in general. And the shout out to these players giving us this match. Everyone watching, I mean, just got to take your hats off in gratitude for these teams specifically because I don't know if any other team could have given us this match. It clearly did not happen against Na'Vi, didn't happen against SSG. Na'Vi, for whatever reason, and I think it's partly because they know each other so well, the history between these teams and these players specifically, have the ability to just kind of go toe-to-toe in the most just intensive ways. And really, really credit to a great Paladins match that we've been able to see. Overtime taken away. Bonker going to use the commander's grab to get out of the line of sight. Getting healed up by Bird still, and a very nice min-max for the shield. He'll get back to about half health. Lazy holding it by himself and forced to use a dome shield. Diggy Dog has the second chance, and so that's at least going to buy some time and soak up an imminent strike, and that's going to be enough. Too much damage to sustain. They will defend here.
That is, I think, you think the upside. You get to rewind yourself. You get the full health. But that's exactly what it is. You burned him down once, then you burned him down again. That's pretty much what you need to be able to counter that
like Terminus.
Specific ability. Yeah, exactly. You look at Terminus. I mean, it is really kind of a mini Terminal, depending on how you want to look at it. It's not going to do anywhere near the amount of damage.
Yeah.
Even if you are running the talent that would give that, although I believe that one's currently banned right now for play. But being able to come into this and be like, cool, you have 4,000 health, dude. You are not tanky. Like, we're just going to kill you. And I think that's the mentality that Na'Vi had there. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work that way on the point fight. because it's a little more difficult to kind of get that same angle they had. The
Yeah.
high ground not really awarding itself to you here. So I want to see how they're going to change up this fight, maybe keep their support alive a little longer.
Creative's in a good spot to peek and use the poke damage and get back to safety here. But there's an overpower, and it's just on such a valuable target. Mutu on the 10 streak. You get rid of the Leon. He's been so effective for Natus Vincere. Really had the eye of the tiger, in my opinion, and they get 2 off of it.
Nice firebomb. Kind of, again, puts the heat under Creatives to perform, has to blink away, and almost immediately falls right into Bonker, who I believe just got a double-double overall. Not quite the full quadra in terms of timing, but he killed 4 people in the fight, so we can give it to him.
I mean, best burger, no doubt. I don't want to hear this Five Guys conversation. In-N-Out beats it. And I'm not biased just because I live in California. And that's what I eat all the time.
Evan, I'm going to
I'm sorry.
break some bad news for you.
What?
You live in Georgia now.
You're right. Lived in California.
It's unfortunate right now.
Don't bring that up. I'm actually going to California tonight, so I'll
Nice.
have a chance. Yeah.
That's right. I mean, you're leaving.
In-N-Out is on the horizons. Maybe that's why. I was just
That's it. You
Atlas
heard the
messed me up for a
double-double, and
second.
it
He
was
sent
just
me to
pulling you there.
He sent me to the future for a little bit, so I understand. My bad. 78% though here, looking good for Natus Vincere. Can they stall out? Good Void Grip.
Jeez.
Should be all they need. And they
Impressive
get
fight
it.
back.
Yeah.
Good shots from Mutu. And I think a part of it is Leon, and the Destiny pointed out, not played this set, really. And then it comes in, and it's just like, cool. Remember the fact that I can just kind of double tap most of you? Like,
Yeah.
it might not be the immediate reset that I get, depending on how many people I hit, but I'm going to put you in a position where you're not comfortable going against me. They don't get all of House Ico because Bonker is going to be the one on the con, and they don't get the immediate performance right after the push starts. But they do get what they need for the point to be able to capture it. 2 minutes, still plenty of time on Ascension Peak to come back and regain this ground.
And still looking to zone very well. Tenor is going to feel confident in a lot of these matchups, but he's getting caught out. And I think Mutu's damage is really hurting. And that's where I think the idea was around let's get him off the board. But there's also just been some great collateral pressure from creatives that when eyes are not on him, it's Bunky. Wow, get some height, why don't you? I think it was a Void Grip, excuse me, a Commander's Grab into maybe a Stellar Win. I think it's just going to be important that these two keep popping off as they have. That's what Na'Vi is really counting on here, is this wall could it get a little bigger? I'm not sure.
Could it? I mean,
it's just not big enough.
I'm not sure.
Do it again.
If this was, I do think it was actually downscaled at one point. I think it was bigger, which is hard to imagine because it is just.
This is Paladins. I mean, I can imagine. I believe everything was in at one point. I believe Eevee shot for like 8,000 damage. I believe Pip, could even miss, and he just pressed a button and everyone turned into chickens automatically. I believe that these things at one point were in
Pip. At this point, you just need to take a lesson from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, right? Put that potion into a great Sky Machine.
There you go.
Make it rain chicken juice,
Why
and
didn't
then
you
make
think of
yourself a anti-chicken potion.
Why didn't you think of that?
Or buy an umbrella, one of the two, in which case everyone's chickens but you.
Great thoughts here, I think, on Ascension Peak and the downtime of this push. It's really translated in a lot of back and forth, but eventually the pendulum swings the way of Na'Vi. They've got 15 seconds left, rounding up one of the first major choke points of Ascension Peak, this kind of uphill stroll, as they have to take a little left turn and then another right before getting towards their main destination. Tenor going to the back line, really pressuring out Mutu here. He wants the duel. Mutu wants it too. Tenor falls back. They both fall down. Bird gets in on the action, but they lose Tenor as a result.
I mean, being able to get aggressive, force that back, I mean, that's not enough overall to stop NIP because they immediately get 3 more kills.
Yeah,
Not too worried about it, not too stressed out. They still have an Exile. They still have an Evil Mojo.
Yep.
And a Dread Serpent, which, again, on this point, with how massive it is, all of those are going to play a big role.
Certainly. Diggy Dog on the Atlas yet again. We've seen this be a mainstay for them, and IP having a chance to get showcased twice this week. And on the new champion releases, Diggy Dog's really made, I think, the essential name for himself on this one. And continuing to learn on this map as well. Haven't seen too much of a difference in terms of how he's played.
2-1.
We may be able to follow along with him and see kind of how he takes this fight here in round 3.
2-2 is a dangerous scoreline for either team.
Very.
Capture the point, push the payload. You win this game. If you're Na'Vi,
Wow.
that's what you want right now, to be able to stop NIP from rolling over you. But if you're NIP,
Got him.
you're looking for this
Oh, he got
exile
two.
banishment
Save
to make sure you can come back in. You can see Resilience paying dividends for Barrick, but not helping out Spunky.
Ooh, boy! Oh my goodness, the outplay is incredible. He gets Void Grip. Spunky thinks maybe I'll get away. He says, I think I've been around that corner before. Let me rewind time and see if I have. And it turns out the man certainly did. Opened up as well with 1,000 damage onto Creatives, and Tenor cleaned it up after that. And another second chance. I mean, how many second chances does one person get?
I mean, in this case,
And he got hit.
I
Oh,
think he's getting as much as he can. He does
Did it
finally go
miss?
down. Lazy gets aggressive into him, but they lose Spunky once again. No more support on the side of Na'Vi. Even if you find these kills, you're not going to be able to heal up after him, so they have to fall back.
Creatives has to do something big here for sure. And he didn't miss. It was just the cauterize. You usually see that he'll do so much, but it's Pip with that Moxie inside of his loadout. Not everyone can get that 50% mitigation directly. And so at this point, it's still a bloodbath. Bonker here on the con, utilizing the 50% movement speed. 66% to 72 now, NIP in control.
I mean, going as far forward as they can, but not going for an incredibly hard zone here. They're actually giving a lot of room to Na'Vi to come back into the fight, because it's definitely going to reward NIP if they blink in maybe too far or too hard. This is 71% on the overpower. They don't have too many ults to really play with here.
Hello, big boy. And he gets the right battle shout. Bonker reads the play, and he had to preempt that as well. Beautiful stuff from him. It's going to be NIP. Lazy left by his lonesome. They took the duels, but you just couldn't beat the thick boys here. And Atlas and Khan continue to dominate.
This is the two front lines. I almost call them a damage duo. They're not quite a damage duo, although I'm sure their damage numbers would make you second guess that overall. Khan, Atlas together for NIP have been doing work yesterday. It's been doing work today.
No.
It's not the easiest thing to pull off, I'd say, but they're doing the right dance.
This is scary. Luckily, they get Alex there on the trade. Creatives is in trouble, though. He's dead. Tenor, he's found two. They got Phoenix earlier. Lazy. This is collateral damage, but this means that they could very well continue to snowball as they continue this push. It's not too far away. There's 3 members down for Natus Vincere. Now only 2, but still 8 seconds before the full team is around. Can Na'Vi keep finding a solid defense, or will NIP keep finding picks?
This archway fight kind of on the side here. Going around the left flank for NIP's perspective. Not going through the arch like you're seeing out of Bonker. It's going to make a big difference. It's a distraction factor, 1, and it means that you're able to put on a little more pressure onto the high ground.
They're going for it, Gore. They want to finish this off. Lazy has to dome shield as well. Damage from Mutu and from Spunky through time and space. Whiffs, though, and Lazy's shield goes down just as fast as it went up. He is hiding, but the 1,500 damage headshot from Diggy Dog on Atlas seals the deal. Exile, you cannot play. He's going to hit her with the setback, but she's still in contest range from the assert dominance.
Just doing whatever she can. Phoenix staying alive as long as he can. Tries to get some respawn out, but it's going to cost his life. Creatives taken off the board as Alex is the one driving this car.
NIP, they've been tested. Natus Vincere have looked good, but they say you've run out of time in taking us down. They remain undefeated, and oh boy, they finish off the set cleanly.
That win starts in one shot for me. It's going either way until that exile hits a moving Eevee. And once you lock her out, Creative's not able to do anything. Alex able to follow up with really solid damage. And NIP, they look good.
They look better than good. Hats off to 2 of the best teams here in the league.
7-0, by the way.
Let's send it back to the desk.
7-0 now for NIP. They've faced off against every other team here in the PPL and have come out on top every single time. 4-2. That's the closest any of their previous sets have been. That's as close as it's going to be here today. Na'Vi, again, hats off to them. They played this one to the wire.
That's just good football, Dave.
It's just good old down and dirty football.
These boys left it all out on the gridiron today, and you can't ask for anything else.
You can't ask for any more.
That's good football.
Just go hit the showers. Hit the showers, kid. No, they hit the showers, kid. They I think
my goodness.
I'm trying to remember correctly. It was a 4-0. I think the majority were 4-3s in this set. I'm forgetting off the top of my head.
4 3s, 4 2s.
I think 4-3 and 4-2 pretty much across the board. Na'Vi, I mean, NIP, I think we've cemented them in as the best team, and they should be. It's not really contended anymore. They've literally played and beaten everyone in the league so far, so there's not really an argument to be made against that. But Na'Vi, I think this is the closest we've seen NIP played.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, the damage numbers being so close as well, again, helps paint that picture of how NIP are playing so damn well as a team. The way they move around the map, especially with this Tyra, like the pit plus these 2 aggro front lines with this Tyra just serving it up, marking it up. Very, very good stuff. I got so hyped for that last headshot onto Barrick from Diggy Dog, though, from that Atlas Chrono Cannon, man. One of the best weapons Paladins has ever seen. Not only in its efficacy, but in its deliverance of these headshots, though. It's so cool, the charge-up mechanics, the different ways you can use it. Such a job well done. Big shout-outs to the design team. Everybody should be definitely patting them on the back at this time, because Atlas has come in, had an awesome impact, looked super good doing it. That headshot right there, and then basically straight into the exile as well. Great stuff from Diggy Dog here. He has definitely shown the setback on this Ashe. Yep. Man, what a show.
And they went with the big wall instead of the Deja Vu, and you kind of had a thought on it. Well, it's like essentially if you're trying to push it in, you can set up the wall, right? And it blocks off the entire enemy team. They're all coming out of that kind of balcony way on the building. You just wall them off and waltz it in.
It has a very luxurious base for a defense. We have this 2-story balcony, covers the entire outside of the
3,000
building.
square feet, 4 bedroom, 3 bath.
You can shoot from the right, 4,000 square feet. I love that. The guest house over on the left-hand side. You can come out from the garage entrance.
That's right.
If you're sneaking in after a late night soiree down on the massive point, the party goes on and on there. It's all very good. It's all very cool stuff. I love the way he was able to plaster that big wall up, hit big exiles. I mean, Diggy Dog's Atlas was certainly a treat to watch this week.
NIP on top yet again, and wouldn't you guess it, we have another interview with them standing by. Probably know what their thoughts are, but let's hear what they are.
Well, congratulations, guys. It didn't go all 7 like I thought it was going to after all those 4 3s. And you're able to close it out. And Diggy, I actually want to ask you, the very end, you're going into the ult, you find a shot onto creatives. Like, when was it the moment that you knew you could push that in and find the win?
When we got the pick. I can't remember. We got a pick on someone, and then as soon as that happens, there's so many comms and stuff come in at the same time, and we want to use ults in that situation to make them make mistakes.
You know, I think you guys have shocked a lot of people. And everyone has done their absolute best to dethrone you, to discredit you, to try to even it out and say, we're right there with them, but you continue to prove that's not the case. What is it about this team, and what would you qualify or at least describe as, your X factor?
I think it's the winner mentality we have. We always strive to be better, even if we have very good win ratio in scrims. Like, we always try new stuff. We never stop with any meta. We always want to find a new meta, basically. If we find the best meta, we look into how to break it. We basically teach the others how to use that meta, and then we break it instead. We just keep on looking for new metas all the time.
So throughout this entire set, it's 2-2, 3-3. You're finding constant fighting, I guess, against Na'Vi, and you've been scrimming against them a lot. Coming into this, did you know that maybe Atlas or Amani were going to make a huge difference this week?
Yeah, I definitely did. Both those characters are extremely strong, and their ults are insane.
Well, congratulations once again. Undefeated still is NIP. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
The Paladins Premier League, brought to you by Skillshot.